Thank you for joining. Again, I'm Ada Kay. I live in Kerrville, Texas, where the 4th of July flooding had happened. It has made national news. I've had a lot of people reaching out, so I'm coming on. It's easier for me to come on and do this than to respond to everybody's request for information. I am going to switch here. We're going to watch this video. It is a press conference. I will say this. There's a lot of people who have been very hard on the sheriff, very hard on the county judge, very hard on all the powers that be. Kerrville City is separate from Ingram Town, which is separate from Hunt Town. And some of the things have happened in Hunt, and some things happened in Ingram, some in Kerrville, Centerpoint, and Comfort. It's kind of like we're on a line down the Guadalupe River. Kerrville is the biggest of the towns. We have a camp that is an affluent camp. It is what I call a wealthy camp. It's an exquisite camp, and wealthy camp doesn't mean anything bad. I'm just giving you the picture. And it is right off the Guadalupe River. It's beautiful. I drive through there sometimes. And at least 23, if I got the numbers right, we'll hear more here in a minute, campers have disappeared. And as a first responder, volunteer, firefighter, chaplain, I can tell you that the chance of their surviving now are very low. They've not found them, the last I've heard. We're going to watch this. I do know I've been put on call, so to speak. I've had a couple requests for me to be prepared to help with some of the families from the local area, not by the city, but by pastors and such. As an emergency service chaplain, that's one of the things I do. So let's listen to this. I didn't know governor was going to be here. I would have gone and interpreted for them, but they didn't ask. Okay, come on. Where does it begin? There we go. I will tell you, I know some of these people standing here, and they are good men and women. Hi, Tinkitude. Hi, Ronnie. Hi, K-Swan. Out and about with Diane. These are sheriff deputies. And we're getting the people coming in from the state. This is not the best camera quality for some reason. I don't know what's happening.
Just to update time.
Why is the video? Okay. Why are we having a video problem?
A nation that take a
There we go.
And we need to continue to invoke God Almighty.
Amen.
The one thing I hear the most from people across the country, really across the globe, are the prayers that are being sent for those who are in harm's way successfully rescued.
I got to stand up and fix
Those
this.
who are giving thanksgiving to God right now because their family member has been located.
Yes.
Those who remain prayerful that their family member too will be found. This is a time when we as a state, we as a community need God more than ever. Little kids off at camp, joyfully.
I'm sorry. I don't know why the video is bad, but we're just going to keep watching. I can't fix it.
Excited about the upcoming day to celebrate the 4th of July. Campers alongside the river, doing the same thing and enjoying one of the beautiful spots in the state of Texas.
It is beautiful.
Asleep probably just a few hours from waking up. People that I know of who were not in harm's way, but went into harm's way to try to save the lives of others, but who lost their life. So many people have been swept up into an extraordinary catastrophe. It needs God, but it also needs a robust response by the state and local governments and by people who live in these communities impacted by this. We had a meeting with officials at the state and local level, and there is extraordinary collaboration to make sure that we are going to address everybody's concern as quickly as we possibly can. At the state level, we have Texas Task Force communities impacted by this. We had a meeting with officials at the state and local level,
Sorry, guys.
and there is extraordinary collaboration to make sure that we are going to address everybody's concern as quickly as we possibly can.
I'll try and find another video.
At the state level, we have Texas Task Force 1 and Texas Task Force 2. There are some of the best experts in the world at search and rescue missions. And know this, we remain in a search and rescue posture right now. So it's been going on over the course of the day, and you're going to hear stories here momentarily about exactly what has been achieved through those search and rescue missions. They will continue in the darkness of.
Okay, I'm going to try. Nope, not better. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get a better video. That's another news station and they're struggling too. Dang it. Okay, we'll just go back here.
They will be taking place when the sun rises in the morning. They will be nonstop, seeking to find everybody who is unaccounted for. The Texas National Guard has been a part of that process. And you'll hear the general in charge of that speak here soon, as well as the Texas Department of Public Safety and their operations. We also have game wardens from the Texas Parks and Wildlife that are involved in this process, as well as the Texas Division of Emergency Management. I have assured all of the local officials here that whatever they need, whether it be personnel, whether it be equipment, whether it be search and rescue operations, whether it be supporting them in their endeavors, whatever these communities need, the state of Texas is going to step up and provide it. But we know that what is needed and wanted the most is all the families out there who are waiting for information about their child or their loved one. And as you will hear, we are working on strategies to deliver on that information that families are craving. We want to make sure we get information to families as quickly as we possibly can. But most importantly, we will stop at nothing to ensure that every asset and person and plane and whatever is needed is going to be involved in the process of rescuing every last person and ensure everybody involved in this is going to be fully accounted for. As a part of this, I'm signing a disaster declaration. Definitely one that includes this area, but includes more than this. And this is the
Thank you,
proclamation here that I'll
Chinkitude.
sign, but I want to tell you in here, I'm declaring a state-based disaster for those in the following counties: Bandera, Coke, Comal, Concho, Gillespie, Kendall, Kerr, Kimball, Llano, Mason, McCullough, Menard, Reeves, San Saba, and Tom Green counties.
Okay, I'm gonna pause while he's doing that. I thought I was paused. There we go. Okay, that was I was pausing the wrong one. Please know that I'm asking you guys to kindly share this with all the content creators that you know. Get the word out. These families are going to need a lot of help. If you go in my description, there's ideas of where you can donate to help in the recovery process. My home, luckily, we had built the yard used to go like this, and then it used to slope down, and we'd put border rocks on it and built it up so it was flat. Because we did that, our house did not get flooded. That said, we had trees falling in the backyard, down on the fence. We do have damage. Minuscule and compared to some of these people. It grieves me that I can't be out there first responding. I have been a first responder for over 20 years. And my body is not in a place where I can go do that. So I will be doing chaplain work and prayer ministry. I will be doing some PTSD counseling with people. I will be working on that end. I have offered my services. Of course, I never get paid. It's always free of charge. I don't ever charge for my services. So this is something we're going to be dealing with for a long time. So the least you guys can do, thank you, PJ and Ronnie and Tinkatu and all of y'all watching, out and about with Diane and Case One and all of you out in alternate shares on X. Share this. Get the news out there because those families need prayer. They're Camp Mystic people come from all over the world. They're campers. Some of them come from all over the world. It is one of the most oldest and most prestigious camps in Texas. And not that it makes any better than any other one, but there are girls there, and it's a girls' camp, and there are girls there as young as 5 years old. And we're going to hear more about that, but EDB, RA, something justice, whatever, whomever, share this. Help me make this go viral so people know what's going on and they can pray.
Assure all the counties
Thank you.
that are identified in this, and there may be more that need to be added later.
Yeah, there will be.
To every tool, strategy, personnel that Texas can provide.
We are having
everything we have in the
FirstNet. I will tell you, I've been watching the vehicles come in today. I'm on FirstNet. Luckily, I have cell phone. A lot of people don't. I have cell phone because I am a first responder and I do have access to FirstNet. But there are a lot of people who don't. But we have a lot of people flooding in to help us. A lot of cleanup, a lot of disaster relief. The American Red Cross, which I was a part of for 15 years. I'd be down there in the shelters right now. I'd be working with the disabled people if I was still a part of them. But my time for that is that journey is over. We've got a lot of other places, people coming in. We've got the Texas Forestry Service. We've got the game wardens. We got all the local police. We got the state. We have Goodwill. We've got Salvation Army. So we've got a lot coming in. And a lot of our hotels are going to be taken up, housing these people. But we've also got a lot of homeless people that we don't have. Kerrville is only 25,000 people. And we don't even have the space for the deceased. That we're having to, we have 2 decent sized funeral homes, one very small one. And we've got the hospital. But the remains are probably going to be going into San Antonio and Austin until arrangements can be made. This is how big this is.
The entire state. Someone who's been involved in this and shares the commitment is the Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick.
Thank you, Governor. Dalton, who's our city manager, told us earlier here, the sheriff.
I don't know why it's doing that. It is. I can't get a better one.
Into action.
Yes, he did.
And since 4 or 5 this morning, they have not stopped.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
put forth
Yeah.
400 to 500 state employees, DPS, game wardens. I'll let the
Ronnie, you are so correct. There are, there's a Navajo reservation that is up in flames and out of control. There's a lot of disasters right now. So be grateful. Be grateful for
speakers talk
yourself.
about the specifics of everyone we had in the air, drones.
I think it's 23 deceased or 24. They're going to tell us here. I do know that there's some people that the numbers will rise. I do know that there's some people that have been on ventilators and stuff waiting for family to come in before they pronounce them. But we also have 23 girls, I believe, including a camp counselor who disappeared from a camp, and they're young as 5 years old, some of them.
Helicopters, but from the
I'm sorry. The campers are as young as 5 in general. I don't know the ages of the ones who disappeared.
first minute that this storm went from 3 a.m, not a drop of rain,
Yeah.
until the tragedy struck and the river rose.
1
These
hour.
people behind us, Governor, have done everything.
I know I'm cutting in and out. He's not giving the numbers. 40 feet, 30 feet in the first hour. That river rose. It hit the bottom of our main bridge going downtown, and I'll show you videos. That's 40 feet.
They can. And there have been a number of rescues, and they'll speak to that as well during the day. And I echo what the governor said. As I said earlier, we will
Can't
not
miss
stop
it.
until we find every body, and the rescue continues that effort. We will not stop. And it is God Almighty that we need. Not a thought and prayers message. Hey, get down on your knees and pray for these
Yes.
families tonight and all these children.
Yes.
Thank you, Governor.
Thank you.
So if you look at the numbers, we're just going to ballpark 45 people could potentially be dead. And in all honesty, the way that river was raging, and I was out there, I saw it. We may never find them all. We may never find them all.
There's going to be other people who speak here, but before they do speak, I want to recognize a few others who will be involved in this process. One is the state representative from this area, West Riddell. Why don't you let people know who you are? And we're also in the state Senate district of Senator Pete Flores. And we have the Texas Parks and Wildlife Game Warden, Colonel, who's here with us.
He's amazing. I love that guy. He's awesome.
Thank you all for being a part of this process. And now I want to turn things over to Sheriff Letha.
Yes, Sheriff Larry Letha, Kirk County. What I'd like to let y'all know and the public know is, like the governor said, we do have all the resources we need at this time, and we will continue to have them until we finish this mission. I want to tell y'all that we will be working around the clock 24/7 until every person is found. What I can confirm at this point, we're at about 24 fatalities. We're not going to be giving any names out at this time. We're still notifying next of kin. Also, I've been notified one fatality has been found in Kendall County. I cannot say it's related to this incident at this time, but we'll let y'all know when we find out more information.
Yes, I'm going to be stopping this because I can. I want to let you know I was live this morning when I didn't even know the flood had happened because I was up at the shop, and I didn't go to sleep till over 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was up here and I slept here, and I didn't know the flood had happened. And we were watching, and we did witness a body get pulled from the river. That person has been identified. It's a young man, and he was a fiance, a father, a son. So yeah.
The media to be real patient with us during this time. We've got a lot of things going on. Y'all see there's a lot of people here. We have a lot of resources. We just need more time, and we're looking really forward. We'll be working 24/7 overnight into tomorrow through the next several days in this mission. We will get you information as we get it. We will get it to you. We'll continue to have briefings. We'll continue to keep updated at this time. At this time, I'll turn it over to Mayor Herring.
I'm Joe Herring Jr. I'm mayor of the city of Kerrville. My job today is to tell people thank you. County, state, all working together, all working for the same goal. I want to say thank you to the dedicated men and women of the first responders.
Mm-hmm.
You are our heroes today.
Yeah.
We will not stop. We will rescue those in peril, and we will find those who are missing.
Hopefully.
But I'd also ask, please pray for our community.
Yeah.
This is a hard day, and there will be hard days to come. Pray for us. We covet your prayers. Thank you.
The task of the Texas Department of Public Safety is to serve and to protect our state, as well as to keep people safe. I want the Director, Colonel Freeman Martin from the Texas Department of Public Safety to explain to you all the details about the links that DPS has gone through over just less than the past 24 hours, which has been very helpful in what you guys helped accomplish.
Well, this was a catastrophic event. It was a mass casualty event. And we don't want to get up here and brag about, the successes when there's life lost and kids that are still missing. But I can tell you every asset, every resources that the Department of Public Safety has is being used here today. We have long lasting relationships with the Sheriff, Larry Letha, that go back 30 years, working with the mayor. And we brought in over 100 troopers this morning, and they worked all day, rescues. high
And
water
they did.
vehicles, boats, rescue drivers, divers, 7 rescue helicopters with hoist capabilities. And that was just today. We have another shift coming in tonight and another shift in the morning. We'll really ramp it up in the morning, but we will not stop. In addition to the search and rescue, that's the priority right now. Moving forward, tomorrow we're going to bring in communications operators, victim services people to help our partners here in Kerr County and HHSC. We have Parks and Wildlife here. They're providing just many boat teams, and they have 2 rescue helicopters. Today, we had the Texas Military Department, the Texas Department of Public Safety, Parks and Wildlife, Task Force 1, everybody working in support of our local partners. That's what right looks like. There are no egos here. There's nobody in charge. We're all working together. We're all communicating, and we will not stop until we find every last person. So we'll be here for days to come. This is not, this won't end. Tomorrow is going to be a very important day. We had a hard time getting in this morning with the weather the way it was. So as the day went on, it picked up, and we were able to rescue more and recover more. That will continue tomorrow. We have more resources en route. So with that, I'll turn it over to General Seltzer.
Good afternoon. As the governor has already said, he has ordered me to provide every capability that the Texas National Guard has to these local officials in this community. Today, we activated 5 helicopters with hoist to do rescue operations. They were paired with rescue swimmers from Texas Task Force 1. These crews trained together year-round just for this situation, and they were ready to respond. Additionally, we have 3 additional helicopters on the way to support the community. We are also using high-profile tactical military vehicles to move evacuees out of high water areas to shelter locations. As of a few hours ago, we had rescued or evacuated 237 people, and 167 of those were by helicopter. So we're having a very
busy
good
helicopter day.
helicopter response when the weather allows. Additionally, in our operations tomorrow, we'll be sending personnel to help with evacuee shelter management, and also the Texas Emergency Tracking Network. It's a banding system so that we can band evacuees to help get accountability of who's being evacuated into the shelters. Thank you.
Thank you, General. Thank you to the men and women of the Texas National Guard. And now, Nimke, the Chief of the Texas Division of Emergency Management.
Thank you, Governor. Our prayers are rooted in action. We've had folks on the ground since yesterday afternoon here, and our State Emergency Operations Center was opened at 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon. The original forecast that we received on Wednesday from the National Weather Service.
Okay, I'm going to stop here. Now, this is the state of Texas. That blue dot is where I'm at right now. You will see I'm looking for Camp Majestic. Okay. This down here is where those poor babies were. This is the Guadalupe River. If they were taken away, they were swept down this river. It calls the South Fork of the Guadalupe. It's thin, but it's flooded. It goes through Camp Flaming Arrow. It continues through Camp Lahana. It curves around into Hunt, Texas. I was there last night at Hunt, Texas, and it's devastating right there. This is Hunt is about 17 minutes from my house. Then you go through Waltona, that's a area. Then you go into Ingram, Texas. You can see it starts down here where it says number 39. See that 39 down there? And it comes up to here. You go from here up to Hunt to Ingram. All of this river. Now here's KERRVILLE. Where you see this Guadalupe River here, you'll see a break in this. That's a dam. You'll see Lewis Hayes Park. The darker gray area was 100% underwater. This is the first time in my lifetime that all of this in that gray area that you see on this screen, I mean, that darker gray area that has Lehman Monroe's dog park, all of that area was underwater. Normally, it's just a creek once you get past the dam. The blue dot is where I am right now. My home is back here. Come on, over in that area. I won't give you the exact address, but I'll zoom out because somebody wanted to know Hunt, Texas looks really built. Hunt is just basically, but I'm going to zoom out so you can see where we are in Texas. Hunt is only a really, literally, they do have a school and everything. It's super little, super little, 1,000 people. But it too was destroyed. Ingram was destroyed. I went with a friend to Ingram Park yesterday. It's destroyed. We sat on a swing by the river. It's gone. We went to Hunt store. It's gone. I mean, it's there, but severely damaged. The Hunt store is over 100 and something years old, so it's really cool. Just to give you an idea of where this is all happening. Okay, now I want to say this. A lot of people called me complaining about the fact that the city didn't do enough of KERRVILLE. Well, the girls were missing out in the county. Then they said the county judge and the county people and the sheriff didn't do their job. This was not a type of storm that was predicted. 2 to 3 inches in a very short period of time. We were expecting some flooding, not major, and there was alert for some flooding. Ultimately, and I don't say this to judge Camp Majestic, but it is up to the directors of that camp to keep the families informed and keep the girls safe. Unfortunately, this hit, like he said, about 4 o'clock this morning. I was here. I was at the shop. I'm looking out the window. There was no rain. It dumped 6 to 9 inches in our area within an hour or two. And a wall of water came because all of this area, I'm going to go back to the map. All of this area that you see to the south of where you see Highway 16 is elevated. KERRVILLE, Texas is like we're in a bowl. So everything comes from a higher elevation to us and then flows down. This type of flooding has not happened in my lifetime. And everybody is blaming people. Let's focus on survival. Let's focus on rescue. Let's not focus on blame. They do have the red alert. It did go off. I got them last night. I was here, sitting right here when all this was going down. When it started and I went to sleep. Hi, Facebook Metalworks. Thank you. I did go to sleep between 4:30 and 5. It was barely even a drizzle. And for this to happen is unfathomable and unthinkable. Just so you know, I have 22 FEMA courses under my belt. I'm a storm chaser. I'm not naive to weather. I've had incident command. I've got so much under my belt. I have been in sit reps. I have been in mass casualty disaster plannings before. I have been involved in this kind of stuff. And there was no way that this community would have known that this was going to happen. So no criticism of these people, because these people are the ones who put their life at risk to save as many people as they could. I have done a whitewater rescue once. I call it water rescue once, and it is horrible. So no criticism.
Predicted 3 to 6 inches
Hello, Facebook Metalworks. Thank you.
of rain in the Concho Valley and 4 to 8 inches of rain in the hill country. We worked with our own meteorologists to fine tune that weather statement. And as many of you know, and many of you in broadcast journalism and meteorology, you can go back and look at your own forecast, and the amount of rain that fell in this specific location was never in any of those forecasts.
Nope, it wasn't.
Nonetheless, in partnership with our local officials here, we had resources that have been surrounding this area since yesterday. When the rain fell and the calls came in, we immediately jumped into action alongside of our local partners. In addition to the local partners that are here, we have 150 personnel, search and rescue experts from Texas A&M Task Force 1. We have over 1,000 state officials and state partners that are responding here with over 804 assets, vehicles, boats, and helicopters. I want to run through that list really quickly. 150 from Texas Task Force 1, that is 30 boats and additional high-profile vehicles. You heard from Colonel Martin in the Texas Department of Public Safety. Colonel Vanderroos down on the end has over 170 personnel here, 167 four-wheel drive vehicles, and over 53 boats in addition to their aircraft. You heard from General Seltzer about the military departments. The A&M Forest Service is here to help us do tree removal and get trees out of the way and help with incident management. The Department of State Health Services has 164 members from the Emergency Medical Task Force here with over 71 pieces of equipment. You may see ambulances in this county that aren't anywhere from near the Emergency Medical Task Force. There will be questions about reunification centers. There'll be questions about noticing. Our local partners will answer those questions when you have them. And Governor, at this point, that ends my prepared remarks.
Thank you very much. So this is,
Okay, I've had someone complain about the quality. Please understand, everything is spotty here right now. I have great service where I'm at right now. I also am on FirstNet because I am a first responder. I will probably be out in this tomorrow. I will be going to Hunt and Ingram and making my chaplainship and emergency services availability to them. So pray for me. It's going to be a hard day. If they can use me, I will be there. This is tomorrow. The next day is when the families will probably find out that their little girls are no longer with us. If that's the case. I can't rest. I can't sleep. And know that when I was with the Red Cross and did sheltering and worked with the disabled people, I would be up for 2 or 3 days straight, with only an hour cat nap here or there. But I appreciate your concerns. It's nothing compared to what those poor families are going through. Oh, y'all, I stand very hydrated. I got my Bellamy hydration supplement, which is fabulous.
a 24/7 effort. Everyone needs to know, day or night, whatever hour of the day, there will be local officials, state officials collaborating together. Also want to thank the Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, who gave me a phone call today to offer any assistance that we need. Secretary Doug Burgum, Secretary of the U.S. Department of the Interior, who called and offered any resources we need. Senator Cruz called and offered any support that they could provide. So this is something where the federal government is leaning in and wants to assist the community here in the heart of Texas to accelerate the process. to be able to draw this to a very positive conclusion. And it's something that Texas will continue to lean into. We'll take a few questions.
Any estimate on how many people are missing or unaccounted for?
No, at this time, sir, no, we don't. We don't have an estimate. The problem was, it was a holiday weekend here. We have a lot of campers here, and we do not know that number at this time.
What about the 23 missing?
Okay, y'all, let me explain. We had a lot of campers. We have a Yogi Bear camp that people in campers were washed down the river. It came up in the middle of the night. People were sound asleep. We had a lot of people who have property along the river that had their family in tents, had them in RVs. This was a huge, high traffic weekend for us. We've got a lot of property owners who have what we call waterfront property or riverfront. And a lot of times they may have 15 and 20 people at their property and campers and tents and houses and whatnot. But houses were washed literally off their slab, pier and beams, everything from tents to houses and RVs and campers were washed down rivers. There is even a video of a house floating down the river with people standing in the doorway with the flashlights trying to get help. This was, we'll call it historical and not the kind of history we want. Now, Adair, I can talk like that if you want me to, but I was born in Bristol, Tennessee. Anyway, I'm not going to go there.
No, it's still, it's between 23 and 25. We have not confirmed that yet. We're still working on that, sir.
So the federal partners were helping with us, but we didn't see the National Weather Service forecast until well into the storm. Can you give us any insight into why there wasn't any updates from the National Weather Service about the flooding?
I'm going to give you a good example. Where's he at?
City manager.
Dalton?
Yeah, I'm going to have the city manager can explain to you kind of in real life terms exactly what happened, when it happened, and how it happened, and why it was so unpredictable.
Thank you, Governor. And as the Lieutenant Governor alluded to, I was out on the river trail this morning, which is, again, at water level of the Guadalupe.
Okay, there is a 2-mile long river trail that literally in some places is about 5 feet from the river's edge up to about 20 feet away from the river's edge. And it follows the length of the river through the downtown area. Here, let me pop this on screen so you guys have a visual of what he's talking about. Well, that's not what I want to do. Is it? Yes. Okay. If you look along here, you'll see Lehman Moore Park. You'll see Thompson Drive. Okay. And then I got to get my bearings. Okay. You can see the Guadalupe River in the gray blue here. And you can see where it stops at Boardwalk Pavilion. It stops. I'm going to enlarge this because I want y'all to understand what's going on. So you can see where the Guadalupe stops. Do you see the river trail here? This is the river trail. It starts here, and you can see river trail. But as you can see, it curves along the river, and it continues and crosses over the river, and it continues on the east side of the river. Look how long that is. And the river trail is on both sides of the river. So you can see down here, it runs pretty close to the river. This is the trail he's talking about that this guy's talking about. I just want y'all to have a visual of what he's talking about.
I was out there about 3:30 this morning doing a jog. I left there probably about 4 o'clock. There was very light rain, no signs of the river. I come from the Houston area, so very used to hurricanes, very used to flooding. We kind of monitored that, checked some different areas. We did not see any signs of the river rising at that time. I started getting phone calls probably about 5 o'clock. We went, the Fire Chief Maloney and I went back out to Louise Hayes Park. Up on the top section, we did have national EMR, and we already had a lot of our emergency plan ready for the 4th of July event, which is at the river level. By the time
I know I'm stopping, but I want to explain where the major river crosses in the videos where you're seeing where the water's at the base of that bridge that's 40 feet deep, 40 feet between the bottom of the bridge and the actual ground zero. They had a big stage with, big, huge, like 10 speakers hung on each side. They had everything set up, the fireworks. They had some food trucks. They had all the emergency services set up. They had the SWAT team vehicles, the incident command vehicles. They had everything set up, the barriers, everything set up for the this is our biggest celebration of the year. And 100% of that is gone. Hundreds of thousands of dollars damaged just with that little spot alone.
we got to the national EMR truck, we could not get it out, and we almost got stuck on the top level. So there's a pavilion down in Louise Hayes
True.
Park.
True.
Within an hour and a half, it had already risen well over 20, 25 feet. So we were monitoring that as much as we possibly could.
And Lisa, how are you?
Flood, there were some flood alarms installed along the river. Are those still working? Any reason why they wouldn't?
A lot of the times, I think, and again, I'm relatively new here, there's alarms typically in Comfort or further downstream. When you are in one of those areas, and those two forks will converge into the Guadalupe, which comes through the city of Kerrville. This rain event sat on top of that and dumped more rain than what was forecasted on both of those forks. When we got the report, it was about 7 feet or so on the South Fork, and within a matter of minutes, it was up to 29 feet, and all of that converged at the Guadalupe, and that's where we saw those very quick rise in flood. So there's not alarms everywhere on the river. No, sir.
This river, y'all need to understand. Let me get back here. The Guadalupe River is a huge river, hundreds of miles. And it does end up kind of in Canyon Lake. I'm gonna show y'all so you have an idea what he's talking about. Don't get mad. Okay, just learn. So this is Canyon Lake. Canyon Lake is 40 to 50 feet short, dry. It's dried up pretty much. Okay, it is very dry. If you see the snaking going along, going under US 281. It comes through here. You can see the snaking of the river. All of those floodwaters are going to, Sisterdale got a lot of flooding. All of those flooding, all of this, see how Comfort and see it all of this, Kerrville right here. This river, all of these forks. Now you see where the roads fork right there. The road runs along the river here. You can see the river here, the roads, the river in some areas are creeks, but this looks like this area here is lower than Kerrville. But in all honesty, this is a higher elevation. So the river flows this way and continues to go until it dumps into Canyon Lake. That is where it goes and dumps. And then it does continue a little south after past the dam and towards San Antonio, outskirts of San Antonio, New Braunfels. So you can see the lake over here. I'm explaining this because there's a lot of people who aren't from this area, and I want you to be able to follow along. In some areas on those forks, there are alarms, but we can't. I mean, we're a small community. To put an alarm at every 100 meters or whatever they do, we can't afford that. Maybe the state will pay for it now. Kendall, south of Miss. Karate Cat Mom, I live in Kerrville, where all this actually happened. The river that reached the top of the bridge that's 40 feet from the bottom to top, we Googled it to make sure what the measurements were, is less than a mile from where I'm at right now. Pretty scary. We're okay. Cindy, thank you so much for joining for X. I know I'm cutting in and out. I'm not going to do this during my normal lives, but there's just so much information being thrown. I want to make sure y'all understand clear. Yes, the rain part of that was a part of the tropical depression. Hiking Matt's with me. True, Yana. So true, Yana. So true. It is. Oh my gosh. Gosh, sorry guys. We're glitching. Give me a minute. It's glitching. You're right. My bad. I am sorry. Hold on. It's glitching. It shows on my screen that you were seeing it, but when I looked at my channel, you weren't. It's glitching. Please be patient with the glitches. We are our system is really strained. So here we go. I apologize.
Anything close to the rivers where we're seeing property damage and missing people.
To add on to that, when you look at the 100-year flood map, we're trying to get as much comparison as we can. While we don't know if it's the exact 100-year floodplain
Thank
map,
you.
it is darn close. And so that shows a lot of stuff when you look at that. So anything along the forks, anything along, camping, cabins, RV parks, even some things that were kind of on the higher end RV parks were, again, the massive amount of water that came in, we're just moving those vehicles out of those areas.
And there's been a lot of talk about how this was not foreseen. Lieutenant Governor, you had mentioned in your press conference earlier today that when the regional director contacted local officials to let them know about the possibility of flooding, but we're now hearing we didn't know what was going to happen. So what was the warning or conversation that happened?
Yeah, is Jay Hall?
Yeah, Governor, I'll take
Yeah,
that. So the State Emergency Operations Center started having daily briefings yesterday on the potential for flood for all of this part of Texas, from here out to San Angelo and Abilene and further out. We have been in contact with local officials, and at some point in time in the future, we're happy.
San Angelo, guys, is where I actually go to college. I'm going to show y'all where that is, so y'all have some understanding. Here is Kerrville, Texas, the blue dot. San Angelo is 2.5 hours away, and it is up here in the north section, right there. My daughter's in college there, up in the north top right left hand of your corner. And if you kind of put it there in the top left hand of your corner, you see Kerrville. Kerrville goes to Junction to Eden to San Angelo. That is a 2.5 hour drive. So that is a lot of territory to cover. All right, here we go.
To share those emails and contact informations of what we had shared. But listen, everybody got the forecast from the National Weather Service, right?
Yep.
You all got it. You're all in media. You got that forecast. Officials, and at some point in time in the future, we're happy to share those emails and contact informations of what we had shared. But listen, everybody got the forecast from the National. However, some of those models showed numbers that were higher than that, which caused us to activate additional resources and have them in the area just in.
Oh, I'm going to back it up.
So using the National Weather Service data, which we were all looking at, they were warning 3 to 6 inches of rain. However, some of those models showed numbers that were higher than that, which caused us to activate additional resources and have them in the area just in case. And those were put immediately into use as soon as the rain fell and the 911 call started coming in. They were already here.
What kind of resources were they? Were they Swift fast boats, or what was prior?
From San Antonio and Austin and the surrounding area that, as the general said, train for this kind of mission every day.
You know, if I simplify your
They
I'm
got here
sorry.
yesterday.
but they immediately.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. To the point where one of the response vehicles got washed away. That's how fast they got caught up in it. They were in the middle of it. They were ready to go. Not to that group, no, sir.
As much as you can talk about it, the nature of the camps, are you getting updates from people? Because it's they're from all over. Some of the kids we've had missing are from Austin and San Antonio and Beaumont. What was your phone going like for you when you were out of the area? I know that.
Is blown up. The fact of the matter is, calls were coming in first, from my team in the governor's office, Chief Kidd, the other leaders, where we collaborate on this all the time. But over the course of the early morning hours, stories started coming in from people that we know well. This is an area that we've been coming to for close to 20 years. And we know the camp and the camps down here quite well. And we have a lot of friends involved in this. And so
The camps down here, a lot of their kids came to.
there were a lot of my fellow Texans who have great concern about everything that's happened here. And that spurred us into action to make sure that we were going to turn over every stone to make sure every Texan, there may be people here not from Texas, everybody here is going to be accounted for as quickly as possible.
As much as you can talk about it, can you talk about the timeline, what locals can expect? And again, where they can get the resources if they're concerned about missing people, on the website specifically that they can go to for resources, and what we should expect as far as updates.
Hey, can you rephrase that question for me? I want to make sure I understand it.
Can you give any sense of the time, as best you can, a sense of the timeline of what the general public and press should be able to expect going forward, what your priorities are, and then specifically for the local community that's missing?
Yep. So
members, where they can go for resources?
yes, sir. I'll speak in support of our local partners here. Our search and rescue teams are here and will continue to be here and stay around the clock. We are not leaving this community until the last person is found. That's number one. Additional volunteer resources will be managed by our local partners at the city for volunteer and donations, and they can give you those websites to put out in a little while, in a little bit. I think another part of your question was about timeline. Disaster.texas.gov is a live website right now. If your home or your business has been impacted, you can start reporting the damages there. But damage reporting is my second priority. Life safety and search and rescue is my first priority. We'll focus on this whenever we get done with the search and rescue piece. But the more that you can send people to this website now, if they're in a safe place to report their damages, will help us in the future.
Can you confirm whether all of the kids that have been accounted for have been reunited with their parents at this point?
No, I cannot confirm that at this time if they've all been back with their parents, no.
Is there concern about possible evil weather or wind coming, how that affects the operations?
So the short answer to that is yes, we are still concerned about the weather. Any additional rain in this part right now can cause additional issues of flash flooding. And so this is where I really need all of your help. Tell the people that don't live here and don't have family here and don't have family that are missing not to come here. Do not come in this area and start looking around. We had people that were blocking bridges today while we had emergency response vehicles trying to get.
Oh, that infuriated me. I had to get to my house. Like again, I said last night I couldn't sleep. And so I came up here and did a bunch of homework and finished about 3:30-ish, 3:45-ish in the morning. And when I got up, I started the live not knowing that this was going on because I hadn't seen anything. And when I looked out the window here at the shop, it was just raining. There was no flooding. It was just raining. And so I was live. Y'all saw me, some of you. I jumped off the live. I immediately went home. But when we were trying to cross the bridge, people in the right-hand lane were bumper to bumper going at about 2 to 3 miles an hour, gawking at the river. And emergency vehicles were trying to get through. People, you're getting a snapshot. Don't sit there and drive. Roll down your window, get your phone. You're holding on to your steering wheel. You're not paying attention in front of you. You got your phone like this and you're clipping pictures of the flood as you're driving. How stupid can you freaking be? We don't need you becoming victims and causing an accident and causing more trouble. Stay off the bridges. Stay away from. And then people were standing literally within a foot of the raging river edge. You guys don't understand. You're standing there. Your weight, that ground is saturated. It could cause it could slide off. You now plummet into the river and either you die or someone's going to try and rescue you. They can die. Be freaking smart, people. Don't become a victim. Don't become a statistic and don't make people like me and other first responders. And I didn't respond this time physically, but I have in the past. Don't make us put our lives in danger to save you because you're being stupid. I know a lot of people aren't saying it. I don't care. Just because you want to get a clip to put on YouTube or Instagram or whatever for clicks, you come out of a safe home, get in a vehicle and drive through flood zones. I saw y'all. There were people driving around barriers with water going up above the hood of their cars, all but getting swept away. Why did you do this? And then you get swept away and killed, or you get angry and you want to be rescued immediately when we're so thin as it is. I know I'm pissing and moaning, but the stupidity sometimes just pisses me off. I have had to do one water rescue, and it was a rancher in a truck who did not obey the signs, the closed down signs. He went around the barrier. And I'm the one that they put on the end of that tether that went out there, and rescued him, and they hauled us in. And I had to hit him in the side of the head with my elbow because he was freaking out because a girl was saving him. Come on. Be smart, people. Don't make stupid decisions just because you want to get a picture. Your life is more valuable, and I'm sure your family would feel that way too. And there were kids, parents with 5 and 6 and 10 and 12 and young kids standing within a foot of the raging river. Why would you put your kid at risk? I don't know.
get out and do rescues. So if you don't live in this area and you're not personally involved in this response, don't come to Kerrville, Texas right now. That's part number one. Part number two is if you do have someone that is missing, the city will be putting information out and we want you to report that back in. So I
Yes.
want to add on to your question because it's a great question. The sheriff gave a great answer. But there's Sheriff, remind me, how many camps along the river have we been in contact with today?
About 18.
About
Oh, that's true.
18
Brought him up.
different camps. The far majority of those camps have their campers and have already contacted unite those campers and those families together outside of any assistance from the local or the state government.
Oh,
We are
yeah.
focused on the ones
Oh,
that cannot help themselves
yeah.
right now, and that is our primary area of concern.
Listen, it's not a matter of trusting or not. Listen, ever since I've been governor, we've had weather events that were completely unpredictable. And that's just a part of nature.
Thank you, folks. Appreciate it.
All right, that's that video. For those of you who don't know, our governor is paralyzed from the waist down. He is in a wheelchair. I'm surprised he's in that kind of a wheelchair. Well, I know why he is, but anyway.
We want to go to our colleague, KENS 5 reporter Sue Kalberg, who I understand is in Center Point.
I don't want to watch that. I've got other videos. I'm looking for, there was a house video. It was dark and you could see the house. Oh, guys, I want to see this. I've not seen this. Look at this flood up. Look, okay. Okay, this, come on, stop. Go back here. Let me share this. I'm trying to get it to share. Just give me a second. It's not cooperating. I want you to see this. I want you to see, I'm going to embiggen this. Give me a second. This is a pavilion. This is just a little picnic table that is about 50 yards from the road. And it is at a very looky asses. But I want you to see how quick that water, this is about the top of this. Let me look at that water come up. The top of this thing, look at the water. Okay, let me pause this. My shop is right here. My shop, my son's shop, my shop. All of this, the river normally is from down here to the base of these trees right here. And it winds and goes underneath and comes out here. All of this from all of this that I'm circling is flooded over the banks. This bridge where the water is 40 feet deep. 40 feet, y'all. 40 feet. That was earlier this morning. That was probably about 6 in the morning. Yeah. These are the bathrooms and they are way elevated. This is about 40 feet above where the river base of the normal river level is. No. This flooded in a matter of 2 to 3 hours. Adair. Did this flood in 1 or 2 days? That would be historical. No. It was a wall of water that came down there. It flooded literally at 4:35 in the morning. There was no flood. By 7 a.m. and going into 8 a.m. This is right here that you're looking at is about 7:30 in the morning. 7:30 in the morning. 2 to 3 hours. It flooded from normal banks to up to 40 that right there, that bridge is 40 feet above water level. Yeah. I'd say this is 3 football fields at least, if not 4 in length. I don't know. This is the water going down. You can see the bottom of the bridge now. These pavilions here are restrooms and such. Picnic areas here. There's a water pad that the kids got to here's the pavilions. This is the entrance, and then it comes way down. But the water pad and everything that they just, we had a new gym built, external gym area. Guys, the speed of which this flowed was incredible. The strength of this water was absolutely horrible. I'm going to show this in a minute. I wanted to stop. I didn't want that video to show. I'm going to start this. Let me get it set up. Okay. I was live this morning, Adair. I did not know. I went live at 9 a.m. and I had no idea this was going on. And then my daughter called, Mom, where are you? And I said, well, I'm at the shop. Why? And she said, you got to turn on this is what's happening. And, hi, Salt Sprinkler. How are you? Happened back in 1987 like this too. It's crazy. Yeah. I moved here in 2002. So this is the worst flood I've experienced here. But yes, it did happen. Water is one of the least forgiving things in Mother Nature. You are so right. And, a lot of people are screaming and yelling, well, why didn't they inform the citizens and all that? We got all the weather alerts from the Weather Service and Code Red and all that kind of stuff. But what happened was that the storm did not move through. Usually they move through. This just sat and sat and sat. And also a lot of 15 inches north of us, north as an elevation, but also north in direction, had 15 inches in 3 hours of rain. All of that rain comes down the Guadalupe. Hi, Salt Sprinkler. Thank you for watching from Houston. Appreciate you. Please, everybody, I've said this a couple of times. Tonight is just about sharing. It's not about growing my channel, but I'm going to ask that you share this with all your friends and content creators. They need to know what's going on, and you never know. There may be people that don't realize that their family or somebody was here. You just never know how this can help. We need all the prayers we can get. We need all the support. There's some I think there's links in my description, but there's, Red Cross, Salvation Army, Goodwill. You can even if you go onto the Kerr County webpage or the Kerrville City webpage, I'm sure there's places where you can make donations. Thank you for joining us, fellow Texans. Yes, thank you, thank you. If this is the first time on my channel, please subscribe. We're a new channel. We're growing, and we greatly appreciate you.
Higher ground and
waited it out.
Made sure my friends were getting out and so on and so forth. So,
and you were okay. You were the only one home at the time.
the only one here.
And everyone in your family's okay.
Correct.
That is great news. And you said you're gonna stay here, gonna stick it out, you're gonna rebuild.
Yes. Yeah. I'll have this redone in what, Luke, a month or two?
Oh yeah.
A month or two.
We're gonna check back in a month or two.
There
So
you
we'd
go.
love to see it once it's done.
Yes.
Let's take them inside real quick. Thank you so much for talking to
Yes.
us. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry this happened, but
Help yourself.
glad you guys are okay.
Yes, sir.
Let's just come inside real quick to talk about what Greg is going through. Him and his family now, the complete devastation in his house. So like he said, the foundation, at least for his house, made it through, didn't move. But the house, it had at least about 3-4 feet of water inside this home earlier this morning.
Well, thank you so much, Salt Sprinkler. Thank you so much for following my trials. I greatly appreciate it.
And this is what's left behind. You see complete devastation. It's uninhabitable right now. We have the mud, the water in the house. We have all the furniture that has been picked up, thrown all sorts of different directions earlier this morning. And especially over by the kitchen table, that's a few inches, still about 6 inches of mud and water that just continues to sit in Greg's home right now. And you can see on the wall, that's where the water was earlier this morning. So about 3 to 4 feet up on the wall is where the water was earlier before, thankfully.
To help get those kids back to their families.
Sorry, guys. I am jumping because some of this is not as important. Must have rained like a swimming pool busting, pretty much.
But unfortunately, because you've got power lines down, because you still have some flooded roads out there, because you have roads completely closed, they're asking for patience. I know at a time like that, that's one of the most difficult.
Came up to his house.
I want you to see the weather part of this so you can understand what happened. It's very important.
across those floodwaters there of the Guadalupe and the Medina River here. Take this a little closer in, and there you can see as we work our way here into Kerrville. By the way, that's the existing flash flood warning. This is a flash flood warning all the way down the river right into the west end of Canyon Lake, by the way. So that's what you see here, this maroon shade right in here. Let me go ahead and pull the view out and kind of give you an idea of where we go from here with this. We're not out of the woods just yet as it's unraveling a bit. The conditions, the atmosphere really been zapped through the night into today. So it's used up a lot of resources and fuel. And so this rain should have a tendency to break apart, become more sprinkles or a hit or miss shower right through sunset this evening. And then we'll watch to see if it regathers and flares up some downpours tomorrow. Do we want to get you a check of the river levels here?
Hey guys, we cannot handle any more rain.
Your Spring Branch has not seen the floodwaters just yet. That will increase dramatically this evening. Right now it's at 18.6 cubic feet per second. It'll be almost 1,000 by 8 o'clock, and it's forecast to really.
The average is about 5 cubic feet per second on a normal day in Kerrville on the river. Okay. At its height in Kerrville, 120,000 cubic feet per second. From 5 to 120,000 cubic feet per second. This is the current flow. This was later in the day. It already passed through Kerrville. It already passed, so it was between Comfort and Spring, but between Hunt and Kerrville, Texas, 120,000 cubic feet per second. That is freaking insane.
Spike and crest at 3 in the morning at 72,000.
Yeah. Last year we couldn't get enough water. We couldn't spit enough
feet per second. That's the forecast as that water works its way down. Comfort levels dropping. That is old data there as those gauges were knocked out by the flood water. And Bandera, the water is rising still. And then eventually that'll be working down through.
Trying to keep the captioning down so you can see.
Into Medina Lake. So here's a closer look at Comfort. There was the earlier peak. I saw a video from Comfort and you could see the flood wave working down. It looks like a tidal bore. If you've ever seen a tidal bore phenomena, say the cruise to Alaska, you see the tide comes in. It's like a wall of water. That's what it looks like with the flood wave coming down our rivers here in the Guadalupe. And so now the river level is dropping. This is Spring Branch where we're going to be seeing it spike. So upriver, it's dropping. Downriver has a quarter mile or so.
That home was washed off of the slab with the people in it.
So down the river at just a few houses down, and we talked to the homeowner there. His name is Gary. He let us go inside his house. His house was still standing. The foundation stayed. The house was able to withstand the floodwaters, but the house from a few doors down was in his backyard, and he was talking about the family that lived there, what they are going through, that they're still looking for them. Just completely a heartbreaking scene. And he was showing us inside his house, which did not get
into those river watersheds.
I told you
we have now just
we are going to jump through because some of this stuff is very repetitive. Hi, Evil Queen.
The leftover showers and sprinkles. Earlier, we had a couple cells up here producing some flash flooding from Mason County into Gillespie, and they've now really sort of fallen apart here. And as we take you to live power Doppler radar, this is just really more of a check for those of you who have the evening activities. I do not want to forget that.
Presume were rescued from Camp Mystic.
Okay, this is where I wanted to go. I do not like that they put these kids on the news. However, they are far away, and you probably can't identify them. But understand that Camp Mystic caters to girls. Some of them, I think, are young as 5 is what I was told, 5 or 6. We still have 23 to 25 little girls missing that nobody has heard from. And their camp leader, director, counselor. And I have to be honest, with every passing minute, hope is dwindling. In reality, they've not been found. They most likely will not be, at least alive.
Forces to people like that gentleman, that it's hard. And here's another live look
Is this a live picture here that we're looking at? Okay, so that right there is going to be more students, campers, who we can presume were rescued from Camp Mystic. This is going to be over at Ingram High School. We've been taking a look at this picture, or this shot in particular, for at least the last hour and a half to 2 hours. We had seen these students being brought in, some of them by way of chopper. We had seen a helicopter land, a couple of them, 3 or 4, bringing in dozens, roughly a half a dozen at a time. And then we had also seen a post from the game warden on the ground that said that they were finally able to enter the camp and start bringing some of those campers out. Homes wiped off their slabs. We had seen cars.
Okay, the Red Cross reunification. I don't care what people think about the Red Cross. I was a volunteer for 15 years. When it comes down to when they actually have to get up, we get up in the 24/7 and bolt, and all the volunteers in the shelters, all the volunteers providing food, all the volunteers doing everything are freaking amazing. Thank you, American Red Cross. You will always be a part of my heart. I served for 15 years from Katrina to Harvey, every major hurricane. And thank you for what you're doing for our community now. I'm going to switch over to this feed. I'm going to cover this guy. Just saying. Okay, here we go.
Safe tomorrow? It is safe, sir. I said, well, if anything changes on that, you call me on speed dial immediately. But right now, the Army Corps believes that dam will hold and is safe as we sit here today. We're also expecting more rain and potential flash flooding.
Yes, I was in Katrina, and I served in with Katrina. I went, and for 2 weeks I was helping get disabled people off the roof of their homes. I'm a disability integration specialist. I'm also deaf without my hearing aids. I was rescued a lot of deaf families and a lot of disabled people who were stuck in their homes. Some people were sitting in the wheelchairs with water up to their chest for 2 days because they couldn't move. They were stuck. Horrible, horrible. I went back and did animal rescue for another week. And then did spend time over at the Houston Astrodome. Is that what it was called? I'm tired. And I was over there as well. So yes, I have been in the thick of things. And then in Hurricane Harvey, I think it was Harvey, when we had hundreds of people bust from Houston into San Antonio. I was a part of that. I was in Houston, in San Antonio, in New Braunfels. My responsibility was the care of hundreds and hundreds of disabled people. So I don't tell you all this to get accolades. I tell you all this so you understand my experience and know that I know what I'm talking about.
To the Waco area, San Antonio, Austin, overnight, that would not be, that would be localized flooding where, as the director said, you don't want to be driving in deep water. We could have heavy rain in those areas, but even in the Kerrville area, even if it's not a heavy rain, just a few inches of rain is going to only make the situation worse. Let me turn it over to Senator Pete Flores, who represents that area, along with a House member, West Verdell, who reached out to me earlier today. I know he's from Brady. I don't know if he's waterlocked or not, because some of those roads are cut off, but we appreciate him reaching out. Senator Flores.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you for allowing me to be here, and thank you all for being here.
Okay, now what's going to happen? They're going to cut off that ASL interpreter. In fact, I'm familiar with that interpreter. They're going to cut her off. Why in the hell do you have an interpreter for the news feed and you cut them off? They're signing to hearing people at that point. No deaf person is understanding anything when you cut her off. You take her out of picture, you might as well not have her.
And
there we go. What the hell, news? When are you guys going to freaking learn that you don't zoom in and cut out the damn interpreter? Why have them there if you're not going to show them on the news? Pisses me off. You have just alienated every deaf person who's watching this. You have now stopped fair and equal access, and it pisses me off. And yes, I have a right to get mad. I'm deaf. I am an interpreter. Are you freaking morons? Every time we have a hurricane or disaster, 9 times out of 10, they cut off the interpreter. She's interpreting to a group of police officers, sheriffs, political people, everybody in the incident command system, and nobody's deaf there. You're there. She's there for the news. Yes, I'm yelling because I'm damn tired of it.
Prayers for our affected Texans and to make sure that that they come out of
If I didn't have my ears plugged into this soundboard and I was sitting at home watching this, I would now be totally freaking lost.
this event with their lives. And for the first responders that are out there, especially the local ones who were there first, we want to always recognize that they mostly voluntarily step up for their fellow citizens, and they're the first ones there and the last ones to leave. My role is to work with the governor and work with the state agencies to make sure that our affected areas get what they need. And thank God we are in Texas, because Texas.
Okay, let me pause this. Let's see what's going on with this live feed.
And we're like, there's
More
something
rescues.
going on here, and so we knew that this was absolutely.
What's up, everybody? Welcome for the new people.
And what are you
I
seeing
have
right
to
now,
drop the
Ira
other
Suggs?
stream.
Okay, I don't want to listen to him. What this is right now are these are the girls from Camp Mystic that they have been picking up in helicopters and bringing them in to Ingram High School. Ingram is about 8 minutes away from me if you don't hit all the lights. And they are going to reunite them with their families. Unfortunately, of course, this is the military helicopter. Thank you so much for all you do. Thank you, military, for your service. Thank you for helping us. Yeah, it's not closed captioned either. Well, I guess it, yeah. But you know what? It doesn't matter. This guy's closed captioning it, not the news. He's got closed captioning because I'm borrowing somebody else's feed. Look, see? But yeah, it doesn't matter. A lot of deaf people don't read English that fast because it's not their freaking first language. So anyway, they do have an ambulance there. There were a few children that needed to be taken to the hospital and treated for non-life-threatening wounds. If she's watching a hot damn Graham, if she's watching on TV, you can close caption. Guys, English is not the first language of a lot of deaf people, so they can't read that fast and they don't always understand all the words. It's not fair and equal access. Sorry. There were so many helicopters here bringing girls in and out and all that. Yeah, Lisa, bite me, definitely. They are bringing them, like I said, in and from Camp Mystic here. There are still 23 girls missing, at least, if not 25, including a camp counselor, from what I understand. For those who are just joining and are new to my channel, thank you so much. I know I'm yelling at them because there's no interpreter. I'm a deaf support specialist. I'm deaf without my hearing aids. I have special ears. Here are my hearing aids. They're the biggest, baddest mamas because I'm that deaf. And I do interpret, and closed captioning is not always accurate. That is true as well. But it pisses me off that they hire an interpreter to sit there and interpret for a newscast like this, and they turn around and cut them off. I haven't interpreted for the news once for a hurricane, and I kept moving around, and somebody finally said, "Why are you doing that?" And I said, "Because the camera's cutting me off, and if I'm not interpreting for the deaf community to be able to see me, then I might as well not be here, and you're breaking the federal law." I am an ADA law specialist as well. Yeah, it angers me that they cut them off. So not to mention, we've seen several military cargo trucks drive in and out. We saw FirstNet come in. We've seen also emergency vet services have come in. There's a lot of people whose horses are in life-threatening situations. Tonight at about 10 o'clock or 9:30, actually, I was out in town, and there were trailer after trailer after trailer of vet services coming in. We had forestry services coming in still. We have game wardens moving around tonight. It is pretty quiet in town, not very many people out, but there are all kinds of services going back and forth and moving around tonight. So that is what's happening here. I appreciate the fact that this guy showed some of that, but let's hear what this guy has to say.
children unaccounted for. I do understand
Right.
we do have our colleague still. All right, Megan, thank you for that report. Just incredible there, because we've been seeing just the operation just
Sorry, I got to
nonstop.
stand up for a
At
sec.
this point, we've seen at least dozens
Oh.
of these rescues live on the air here at Kent's
Sorry.
Side, of these girls getting out of the chopper, getting, medically checked, and then, of course, that big sweet reunion with their family members at Ingram Elementary, which is, I can just only imagine these families feeling that relief, but also the
Yeah.
other families
Sorry, that's wrong. It's Ingram High School, not elementary.
who are still, have the children unaccounted for.
Just
I do
saying.
understand
Right.
we do have our colleague, Zach Briggs, also in Kerrville. And Zach, I understand you're at the area where we are expecting a news conference here at 7:30.
Okay, so I will replay that. Where they are is called the Ag Barn, as we call it, or the Happy Bank Barn, but it's the Agricultural Barn and Convention Center.
Right. That's right, Henry. It's been a few hours since we heard from City of.
Yeah, so the next press conference is 7:30 Central. From what I heard,
Boat. We are live for the moment in Center Point, Texas, on the Guadalupe River, right across.
Okay, I'm going to show you guys where Center Point, Texas is. It is just down the road from us. I am, let me get the map up. Okay, you will see. All right, you can see Kerrville, Texas is where the blue arrow is. Kind of sitting here at, right at 9 o'clock. If we zoom in, Center Point is on Highway 27 southeast. It is about, you'll see the Kerrville Municipal Airport. You see the blue dot? That is where I am. Okay, I'm going to try and get it there. The blue dot is where I am. Center Point is about 15 minutes away from me. So if you follow the Guadalupe River, here it is here. You can see the Guadalupe River right here. That sharp cutoff is the dam. Usually it's pretty dry after that. But if you notice, you can follow it down Center Point River. Actually, that's the River Road, and it goes into Center Point. And just so you know, it eventually flows into Canyon Lake, which is, I'm going to move this out of the way. Okay. This is Canyon Lake here. This is where all the water is heading. You can see the squirrelies going kind of west to east. And once again, there's Kerrville. And like I said, there is Center Point. I'm just trying to give you guys an idea where all this is so you have an idea what they're talking about.
From Lions Park. It's an area lots of people have picnicked and camped.
Oh, Lions Park is full of campers, tents, RVs. Hi, Jed. Center Point, Jed. Center Point was affected badly too. Yeah.
Free place to enjoy the Guadalupe River. So lots of people know exactly where this spot is. So we will continue to follow this story and track the river as we.
Okay, now just so you know, the worst of the flooding was there at the Lewis Hayes Park area and north of that in Kerrville. But Center Point got a lot of flooding. Comfort got flooding, but it's not nearly as bad as what we experienced as far as fatalities. Everything north, all the fatalities happened to the northwest part of the Guadalupe River from Kerrville to Hunt, Texas.
Towards San Antonio this evening. Live in Center Point, Sue Kalberg, KENS 5.
Simply no words.
Now they are searching as far as 30 miles downriver. Yeah, look at this. And I'll be honest, this river is usually, I would say 70% dry. It's never like this. I mean, this is insane. This is in Llano, Texas. I got family who are from Llano, Texas. I know this river very well. This is part of the Guadalupe as well. Well, not part of the Guadalupe. But it did not get up. That river again is about 40 feet as well as it was in ours. So anyway, oh, here's the house. This is what I wanted y'all to see. Watch this. This house is literally floating down the river in Kerrville. And watch, there are people in the house with flashlights. That was literally, let's see that again. Oh Okay, watch this. The guy is literally, yeah, you recall the 1987 flood? It appears worse in flood height and much quicker. Yes, it was. Look, they're in the house with flashlights while their home is floating down the river. They were rescued, but that is scary as shite, y'all. First of all, I want to thank you. We have 138 people on YouTube watching. We have 508 watching on X. Thank you so very much. I want to just state that I'm Ada K. If you're new to this channel, thank you for joining. I am a deaf courtroom commentator. I'm a deaf support specialist, disability integration specialist, and right now I'm a criminal justice major who lives in Kerrville, Texas. This is my home. They were rescued. Unfortunately, when I was showing this live this morning before we actually watched a water rescue with a fatality. This is G Street Bridge. This bridge, I know it well. It is a walking bridge. We don't drive on it anymore. And this was actually later in the day. The water was well over. If you see my arrow here, earlier in the morning, between say 5 and 8 a.m., 9 a.m., the water was up to here. You see my cursor. You can see where the broken limbs are. It was really high right there. Unfortunately, the 23 to 25 girls that are missing from Camp Mystic, unless they are all curled up, huddled up somewhere in the woods, scared and can't figure out how to get back, I hate to say it, chances are they will not be found. Rock on! I'm no expert on this area, but I know enough that it has been raining in Texas all month. This should not happen. Flash flood area. Okay, I will say, Danny, I'm not going to totally disagree with you on that. However, the raining in Kerrville, Texas, it's been raining a lot in Texas, but Kerrville, for some reason, you'll see a wall of thunderstorms come and they dissipate and then they come back together in Bernie and go on to San Antonio. We've had dusting of rain. We've had misting rain. We've had light rain, but we were in a drought. So the top surface of the ground was wet, but the ground, the deeper part of the ground was still brutally dry. And so even though we've had some rain the last couple of days, it was just, light rain, what I call gentle rain. So the ground was not really that saturated. The Guadalupe 70s and 80s are, I'm no expert in the area of Texas all month. This should not happen, a flash flood area. The thing is that the amount of rainfall that was predicted over the time it was predicted by the National Weather Service and the prediction of the storm and how it was moving. By the way, y'all don't know, I am a storm chaser with Texas Vortex Storm Chasing. I'm also highly qualified on, I have over 22 FEMA courses under certifications. I am well versed in this, and I'm just going to say that the storm didn't behave in which it was predicted, number one. Number two, we're in a bowl. Kerrville is at a lower point. Everything floods from high to low. And we had two forks where everything floods into and just outside. And it was the perfect storm. And I hate using that, but it's what it was. Used to canoe down the Guadalupe in the 70s and 80s. Beautiful area. I met my husband in Kerrville praying for you. Thank you so much, Julie. Matatina Finn, I guess. How old are the girls? The girls are second and third graders. However, some girls start going to Camp Mystic, I think about 5 or 6 years old. So they're, I would say, anywhere from 5, 6, potentially up to about 8 to 10. I do not have exact numbers on that, but I'm going to say as young as 8. Back then we had Upper Guadalupe and Lower, but I've not canoed there in decades. We do have an Upper and Lower Guadalupe. A lot of it has dried up because we've been pretty much in drought for years. Ages 7 to 17, according to the news. I think the 17 would be probably the camp counselor. My husband used to slide down the Ingram Dam in the summers. He grew up in Harbor. Okay, Julie, I used to live literally on the, not on the street side, but on the opposite side of that dam on a ranch. And I rented a ranch house there. And as a first responder, volunteer firefighter, I can't tell you how many times I ended up on that dam hauling people with broken necks, busted skulls, broken limbs from standing up on the dam and barefoot sliding down a dam. Even on your butt. People have hit the bottom of that dam, and what they don't realize is there's about a foot of concrete. The dam goes like this, and then you have about literally goes like this. And at the foot, at the base of it, you have about a foot to 2 feet of concrete that goes straight out. They don't know it's there. They think it drops straight down into water. And what happens is they hit that, and oh my gosh, it's horrible. So yes, the older one was a cancel. The rest are just babies. Yes. Canyon Lake takes at least 5 years, has been lowest ever level in 100 years. Guadalupe flows. That's right. It does, Chad. This will definitely help the Canyon Lake situation. The older, it's amazing how much beautiful area could turn into devastation. It is. It is. Julie, I know it's nuts. We were in South Carolina, North Carolina hurricanes. I hope you guys have a better disaster relief. We have a lot of Red Cross. San Antonio is a really big hub for the Red Cross. I was a part of the Red Cross for right about 15 years. And we have a very good team here. I do know that they're flying people in from all over the United States to help with the sheltering and the care of all of us. But yeah, people who go sliding down the Ingram Dam, I don't know why the city has not made it illegal. Ingram should make it illegal because too many people have gotten hurt. Too many people have literally been killed. I mean, we've literally had people die doing that. So yeah. So what I'm going to do, we're going to play some of this video. It is from earlier, but it gives you an idea of what some of the interviews have said.
Report was that we had numerous kids from Camp Mystic missing, and I just saw that they may have been all accounted for.
Now it's 13 confirmed dead at least. And my daughter said up to 24. Oh, you live in Canyon Lake back in 1998 when it was flooded in the Guadalupe River. What? Yep.
There are some missing. We know where some of them are stranded. And we've worked to confirm that with the people out of Camp Mystic. But in terms of exactly how many are missing and unaccounted for, we're not sure about that number. But we have a bunch of them we're trying to get back.
It is all dried up now. You're welcome, babe. Also, for those of you who don't know, I'm an emergency services chaplain. I am a volunteer firefighter. I did not go out in this. I have rheumatoid arthritis and I have been in a flare-up and struggling, so I did not put myself at risk of having to be rescued myself. I am availing myself to certain services tomorrow as a chaplain. I am very sure that I will have to go out on some of those calls because most likely tomorrow is when the families are going to start finding out their daughters are no longer alive. I am not trying to be negative, Nellie, but I can pretty much state that I do not have much hope right now of finding these girls alive this late in the day. I really don't. I don't. Unless they're all curled up together. I'm just looking for more media. Where was that red? I wanted to see the water. That's what I want to see. Let me look. Get out of the fake churches. Tanya? I'm sorry, babe. I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm going to remove that comment. This is not about churches. It doesn't matter. I am a chaplain, but that is my faith. I'm not trying to be mean to you or disrespectful, but this is not the time or place for that. This is my community. I live here. I do have some damage on my property, but that's okay. Why is my mouse not following my commands? So please, I thank you for watching, but this is not appropriate. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you for broadcasting this channel for us. You're welcome, Chad. Canoe Navy posted that 7 of the 22 were rescued, 23 were rescued. Karate Cat Mom, I know some people are saying these kind of things, but I'm here. Not only that, and I'm not saying I'm special, but you see this radio? It's tied into the first, well, I hear the fire calls, EMS, first responder call outs. And I do have people I know who are out and about and doing, and I don't have faith in that number. I'm sorry. I wish, but unless I hear it from the horse's mouth of certain people, I don't really have that much confidence. I'm going to.
Fatalities. We're not going to be.
So that helicopter, this is the exact Abbott was.
I
said
also, I like this guy.
Let me
Just so you know, I have the same program he does. Let me see if we have any copters flying. That's a good one. Let me see if I have any helicopters flying. Flight. That's not what I want. Flight Finder. Let's see what we got flying around here. Let me come to me. Agree and close. Let me come over to Texas. I'm gonna take me off the screen because I can't put me and this at the same time. I got to figure out how to do this. Here is KERRVILLE, Texas. Right now, we do not have anything flying overhead. If you can see, we have a flight flying into San Antonio. So right now, there are no helicopters out and about and flying. So, yep, I have the same program he has. Yep, I really appreciate the fact that people are covering this, but what's asking? Ronnie, thank you so much, Ronnie, for hopping on to that. I am not selling gospel, and I'm not asking for a single dime, Elijah. I don't want a dime. Don't want it. Okay, I've had to take that. Who are you talking about? I'm sorry, there's somebody who's hopping up. We got a troll hopping up. We got you. Thank you so much. Not in my town are you going to do this. This has been one of the most surreal. Here, we're going to watch this. This is KSAT 12. This is from our local news. I'm going to share this here. I have been in a lot of rescues and a lot of situations, a lot of floods. But this was so unusual because this flood literally was a wall of water. And I know a lot of people, I'm going to let this run while I talk. It's only a minute long. There were a lot of people who were really going after the sheriff, really going after the powers that be, the police, the fire, the EMS, the sheriff. And the problem with that is it wasn't their faults. It could not have been their faults because the way this storm acted and what had happened, they already had a lot of people here. They already had a lot of things lined up. But the problem is this flood and this rain did not behave the way it was expected to. And there happened in the middle of the night when people were sleeping or early morning hours. And because of that,
You're watching NBC5 News at
I am trying to find something. Okay, I'm going to play this.
U11 starts right now.
But anyway, I'm just going to let this roll. This here is just some news media. Thank you for sniffing out the troll, Ronnie. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Geoengineering fail. Thank you for covering this. I was looking for coverage from a local. This is so heartbreaking. Yeah, and I am trying very hard not to cry.
Night, sending the Guadalupe River to near record levels.
Emergency crews are working nonstop.
Record level. It broke the 1987 record level.
Pulling survivors from trees, searching for the missing.
Yeah, Governor Greg Abbott posting.
It was literally a 26, you are correct. It was approximately 26 feet and 45 minutes, but it did end up going to 40 feet. That at the river's normal level to the top of the bridge that everybody's seeing is 40 feet. And the water was lapping the top of that bridge. If it had gone up 2 to 3 more feet, it would have been over that bridge.
This video on social media, you can see helicopter crews rescuing someone from a tree there, plucking them from those branches. Incredible efforts to help those trapped by these floodwaters.
And here is a look at the communities impacted there. They include Kerrville, which is in Kerr County. The Kerr County Sheriff confirms at least 13 people have died. And in the city of Hunt, 23 girls at Camp Mystic are
This is a really good picture, Hunt. It's actually, you see where the arrow is right there? Camp Mystic is not there. It's right here. See that little bend right there in the river? This is where Camp Mystic is, right here, outside of Hunt. So, yeah.
unaccounted for. At a news conference about 90 minutes ago, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick with a message for the parents of those children.
We will.
Yes, Ronnie, I did have it exit all of a sudden because our shop is on one side of the river. My home is on the other side. And if I hit half of the lights, I'm home in about 4 or 5 minutes. But I also know that my street floods. Now, luckily, my particular situation, most of the yards kind of go like they're flat and then they have a dip down and into the street. And I noticed that my neighbors had a water line up to their doors, or some of them a little higher. So they did get water damage. But I had taken flower, it's like a flower bed border rocks that are straight. They're about 1.5 feet long and they're about this big square. And I'd stacked them too high and then we filled it in with dirt and made the yard flat. Because we did that, we did not get water in the house. However, we have trees down, damaged fence, damaged shed, damaged other things. But I haven't been home since this morning. I will go home and make sure we don't have flooding from the ceiling. Make sure our roof was holding.
We'll do everything humanly possible 24/7, looking at every tree, turning over every rock, whatever it takes.
Hello.
If your child is one of those truly missing and not just out of touch,
Hello.
to find your daughter. We will do everything humanly possible.
Patrick says there are 400 to 500.
Okay, here's the bridge that everyone's talking about. Literally, this water is literally like right this. The bridge is a pretty thick bridge. This bridge has withstood so many floods, but this bridge was built like in the 50s, 60s, something like that. I don't know. Why don't I Google it or ask? Hold on. What year was the bridge in over the, hold on. Okay, I'm trying to see if it will tell me what year was it built. The 1980, no, that's the wrong bridge. Wrong bridge. Let me go copy, Control V. Lewis Hayes Park. See if that will give it to me. I want to see what year this was built. I think it was built in the 1930s, 1940s, something like that. It's very old. It's not giving me what I want. So anyway, long story short, this is an older bridge, but it's held up beautifully. Future. This is the bridge, Judge, that goes. This is Highway 16. This water is covering Lewis Hayes Park. The sad thing is to the left side of the bridge, which you're not seeing, they had just set up the big band, like a concert, rock star concert stages. They were going to have music all day. We had a bunch of food trucks out there already. I think Buzzy's Barbecue lost his barbecue pit. I'm not 100% sure, but possibly. We had all the venues set up. Had the fireworks set up. Everything was set up for today. And unfortunately, everything's gone. The splash pad, which is probably about a $200,000 kiddie thing, gone. Another $200,000-ish, so what I read, exercise area, gone. There's a lot of damage to that, but that nothing compares to the loss of homes and life. You're welcome. I was watching some of your coverage this AM and then had some of the family stuff prayers. Thank you so much. Our insurance company rates by the way, they're already up like crazy because we've had a lot of hail damage in the last couple of years. Good to see you, Future. A lot of hail damage. And so, yes, our insurance is probably going to go up even more. Thank you,
on
weather.
The ground searching and 14 helicopters and several drones in the skies.
Those parents are just terrified
My goodness.
now. We have team coverage tonight, beginning with Amanda Henderson. She is on the ground in hard-hit Kerrville. Amanda.
This is what we call Lookout. The Lookout. It is actually a platform that is approximately 80 feet or so above the river's natural water. It's got a covered pavilion. A lot of people were there. They did kick people out and only allowed news at some point. What you're seeing behind her is usually dry. You only see a creek or just a very narrow section, probably only 20, 30 yards wide, that actually has water running through it all the time. All this other area you see is dry year round. So this is huge.
Sherman, you say 14 helicopters. I can confirm we have seen so many flying over where we are right now, right on the banks of the Guadalupe River next to a park. This is a very well-known park out here in Kerrville, but it doesn't look like that. I want you to take a look at what it does look like. It looks like the extension of the Guadalupe River. Even the water is foaming at the side where it's meeting the land. I was out here last year doing eclipse coverage. This is
enjoy the block party.
A well-known area for families to come and spend their days, especially on a holiday like today, which is 4th of July. And obviously the mood has generally shifted to just one of concern, devastation. People are coming out here telling us over and over and over again they cannot believe what they are seeing. And I want to see, Mo, if we can zoom into the trees out there, you can see just how powerful these waters were and how high they were. These trees have been here for a long time. They're giant and they were completely taken apart. You can see debris in those trees as well. I can't fully.
Okay, I was going to explain this. I actually have a picture I did take, or my son took while I was driving. But these trees, some of them are 100 years old. Cypress trees, strong trees. And we've lost so many trees. Oh my gosh. And this is actually in the park section. This is not like down the river. This is a part of the park. And they're very, very tall trees.
Make out what it is from where I'm standing. But again, that just really hits home the power of these storms.
Okay, so you see these trees standing here. All of these trees here were underwater. The ones that are bent over, and that's a lot.
I think the biggest thing right now.
They have withstood a lot of other floods. We've had some pretty serious floods, but nothing like this. Oh my God, thank you so much. Oh, I'm going to pause this. Thank you so much for not staying here, Linda Robinson. Thank you so much for that was maybe, and someone to get mad. I'm a chaplain. I don't care. I'm going to say it. That was maybe a God thing. And if you don't believe in God, that's okay. I'm not mad at you. I'm not angry at it, but thank God you didn't stay. Thank God you didn't stay. You are so blessed. Thank God. I want to hear
At
this.
some photos that families have sent in to us. This is Deanne and Gary Knetch. They are missing, as well as their daughter Megan, her husband Jake, daughter Harley. They were at one of the RV parks here in Kerrville.
It's 5
Robert
people.
Leroy Brake Sr. and Joni K. Brake are also missing. They were at a campground overnight. And of course, there are children who are missing from Camp Mystic. In the orange shirt, you will see Lainey Landry. In the green shirt, you will see Kellyanne Lytle. Both of those little girls were missing from Camp Mystic. Last I checked with their families, they're still waiting to see if they are going to hear the news that they have been waiting for. And I'm really sorry. 23 missing and 13 dead is never what you want to hear. And these families, I'm
Yes.
the last person they want to hear from, but they have been so kind to share who their loved ones are with us.
Okay. She's really struggling to keep it together, and I understand. I'm going to say hello to a lot of you. A lot of you are joining for the first time. Let me introduce myself. I'm Ada Kay. This channel just turned a year old. We normally do court commentating. I am deaf without my special ears, magic ears, and my badass hearing aids. I am totally deaf. I normally will sometimes have an interpreter or I can interpret, but I'm a deaf support specialist. I'm a disability integration specialist. I'm an ADA law specialist. I'm also a volunteer firefighter and an emergency services chaplain. And I'm FEMA certified out the butt. So, just so you know who I am, I welcome you. I thank you for joining us. Please hit the like button, but most importantly, you can help me by subscribing. And the only reason why I ask that is because when you subscribe, it helps me. Thank you so much for those who subscribed. It also will help me provide interpretation when I have deaf people watching. Right now, there's no one deaf, therefore I'm not interpreting. If they're a deaf person watching, you will see me immediately back up and start interpreting. Don't be offended. I believe in fair and equal access for all. And I've really got to hand it to this girl. This is a very hard job.
And I say are because we're waiting to hear hopefully good news that they have all been found. This is a very tight-knit community. I've done a lot of stories out in Kerrville. I've been out here for the freezes. I've seen them rally together, and no doubt will they rally together out in Kerrville, Ingram, Hunt, all three of those cities just up I-10.
Okay, I'm going to bounce back on that, baby girl. They're not cities. Hunt is a very teeny tiny town, less than 1,000. Ingram is a bigger, couple thousand. Kerrville is about 25,000. Center Point is some couple thousand. So we got little towns that are kind of are all scattered dotted along Highway 27 that runs parallel or right on the river. We also have a lot of retirees that have property on the river. That's something that they're not discussing. There's a lot of people who, this is 4th of July, a lot of people who have private property that literally runs up on the river. You can drive down the road and you can see where they have the house, the road, and then the river property. The highway goes between the house and the river property. And I drove there yesterday going to Hunt. I was at Hunt store yesterday, and unfortunately it was severely damaged. I'm going to pull up a picture of the Hunt store. It's a very historical marker, rich in history. But anyway, that particular store, going along the Hunt store and all of that, the drive was just scattered with tons and tons and tons of people in tents, people in RVs and such. So I'm scared to think that there's a possibility that there could be a whole lot more people that are not found. So yeah.
They are about 25 minutes away from each other. So this is affecting a very wide range of people. And I just hope you guys know we're going to continue to fight for answers. But for now, from Kerrville, I'm Amanda Henderson. Back to you.
All right, Amanda. Yeah, I mean, it is overwhelming to see the full.
Okay, I'm going to share with you the Hunt store in Hunt, Texas. Why is this video playing? I want to see a picture of the store. Okay, there's a picture of the store. This store is super, 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 super old. In fact, it's so old that it's built with cedar post and rock. And this is a very historical store. I was actually at that store last night, and it's all but destroyed. All but destroyed. Here's what it looks like on the inside of the store, just so you get an idea. Look at the old fireplace, the old counters. They have food. This is what it looks like on the inside. This is such a huge impact on that community.
Of that river, the white water that, it almost looks like whitewater caps tearing down the trees. And then, of course, the fear and the terror for the families.
Thank you,
whose
Denise.
loved ones are missing.
And Amanda, who's covered that area extensively,
Ronnie,
quite visibly upset.
Ronnie, thank you for all that you're doing, and my mods, thank you for what you're doing.
That is all right. You are human. It is a terrible situation.
It is
Tonight, we have new video just coming into our newsroom. It shows the scope of the damage as catastrophic flooding starts to recede.
You can see massive trees ripped from the ground, river properties destroyed, and debris scattered everywhere. Governor Greg Abbott speaking about the disaster.
By the way, I'm asking, I'm asking all of you to share this with Brandy, share this with other YouTube creators, get the word out, because we need your prayers. We need your prayers. Those poor babies and their families, it just grieves my spirit.
Moments ago.
Little kids off at camp, joyfully excited about the upcoming day to celebrate the 4th of July. Campers alongside the river, doing the same thing and enjoying one of the beautiful spots in the state of Texas. Asleep probably just a few hours from waking up.
And we know several of those who remain missing are girls at Camp Mystic. The Texas game wardens sharing photos of crews finally being able to access that site late this evening, getting survivors to safe ground.
I'm so thankful for her, Brandy, doing that and helping me get to my 1,000 and all of you. We're at 3,000 now. So, but thank y'all for joining.
Storm catching everyone off guard. The Guadalupe River rising faster than anyone expected, rising 26 feet in just 4.
Okay, Sandra, let me explain a little bit here. And by the way, I love your picture. That's gorgeous. There are 2 places where the rivers come from a fork into the main body of the river. And I don't think I can zoom in on this enough to show you where that is. They did install warning signals into that. Part of the problem is that the river, the rain and everything that was predicted was, and the speed and the direction and movement of the storm that was predicted, it didn't behave in that manner. And the rain was so fast, so much that there are no warning systems in place when the river floods, except for in 2 little places in the fork areas. There are 2 there. They talked about it tonight. But unfortunately, we have something's called Code Red that goes on your phone and it screams, and a lot of people turn off that warning. Just like you can get the Amber Alerts, you can also opt out or turn off the warnings. And a lot of people get annoyed by it or they ignore it. And a lot of people ignored it. Now the situation is that at 4:00 in the morning, I was up at 4:00 in the morning. In fact, I was here when I drove here between 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. It was dry. I mean, it had been raining and misting, but there was no current rain, no flooding. The rivers were all at normal level. Between 5:30ish and 8:30ish, we got so much rain. Well, first of all, above and north of us, I'm going to use this map. Up in here, way up in this
45
way up in this corner over here, they got up to 15 inches of rain in 3 hours. 15 inches of rain in 3 hours. We here got, I was, depending on where, but right where I'm at, right about 9 inches of rain in 3 hours. So north of us is getting 15, we're getting 9, and it all flows down. This, people don't understand this map. Texas, all the areas of the Guadalupe northwest of us are higher elevation than we are. Everything flows down into the Canyon Lake. That's the topography. Here's Canyon Lake, and that is the topography of the land. Unfortunately, it was so fast. It was a wall of water. It just, boom, there it was. And all the people, fortunately, there's a lot of people there that were asleep, either didn't hear the warning because they had it turned muted on their phone, or they opted out, or yeah. We knew we were going to have flooding. Excuse me. We knew we were going to have flooding, but we didn't know we were going to have flooding to the level which we had the flooding. Usually, sometimes we can flood a couple feet over the banks, but this is insane.
minutes before 4 a.m.
We have team coverage tonight talking to Houston families who have missing loved ones and talking about the flooding emergency that remains.
We start with Amanda Henderson, who is in Kerrville tonight. Amanda?
Yeah, that's right. And some of us did get the warnings, and some of us, Mars, thank you for joining. Some of us did get the warnings, but it stopped over Kirk County. That whole thing, the storm is all right. Remember the bands from the hurricanes? Okay, the bands were moving, so the bands were curving. This didn't do this and move on. It came, it curved, and it kept circling. It looked like a hurricane over Kirk County. It kept circling, and it wasn't moving, and that really, really affected us.
Well, the water, which you can still hear, came in extremely quickly, and trees were snapped like toothpicks. Families saying they really didn't have much time to realize what was going on. That includes Christina Wilson and her fiance.
Okay, Mars, you got warnings, but what I'm saying, people in Kirk County, I mean, we get them all the time, but there are people who do opt out of those warnings. There are people who do silence their phones and don't get the warnings. I know, because I have a friend who did it. And I called her and I said, "How you doing?" She goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "Do you not know what's happening?" And she goes, "No, I haven't turned on the news. I'm just putzing around the house." And when I told her what was going on, she goes, "Oh, I turned my warnings off. I had no idea." Just saying. Either you turn them off or you ignore them. It's a sad thing.
Say Julian Ryan. They were at their home in Ingram, about 15 minutes from
Yes.
Kerrville. When they say
I'm glad you're safe, Boo.
everything happened all at once.
He died a hero, and that will never gone unnoticed.
Through tears and shock, the family of 27-year-old Julian Ryan tells us the father, brother, and fiance died a hero. In the early Friday morning hours, floodwaters suddenly swelled into the home he shared with his fiance and mother in Ingram, close to the Guadalupe River.
And it just started pouring in. We had to fight the door to get it closed just so that too much didn't come in. And we ran back to the room and we started calling 911.
Julian's fiance, Christina Wilson, says after 20 minutes, the water was up to their knees. Julian punching open a window to try and get her, their children, and his mother to the roof.
It severed his artery in his arm, almost cut it clean off.
Christina says they kept calling 911, but no one came in time to save him.
About 6 o'clock, my husband was dead. He had lost all of it, all his blood. He looked at me and the kids and my mother-in-law, and he was like, "Sorry, I'm not going to make it. I love y'all."
Christina says she found her fiance after the water receded, but his body wasn't recovered for hours. Now,
Yes, we watched his recovery by accident live. We thought it looked like it was actually like a piece of carpet or something that they were recovering. No idea it was a real body, and we saw it live.
Loved ones remember the man they call a hero.
He was the hero out of this story.
Especially when they told him my brother is dying. They should have went to him first. I mean, that's how I see it.
He's just the kindest person I've ever met in my life, and I will forever love him no matter what.
The four stand together, saying more needs to be implemented to never let this happen again. All four of you, do you guys think that flood sirens would have saved lives in this situation?
Most likely.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to talk about this flood sirens, babe, y'all. Doesn't always work. It is easy to sit here and say, oh, if we had this, we had that, we had this, we had that. You're in that house, you're sound asleep, unless that flood sirens are right there. There's some people who just sleep through everything. Oh, look, I have slept through everything at 4 a.m. also. So flood sirens, I mean, we can sit here and say flood sirens and all this, but the problem is with water can either flood gradually or it can come at a wall and it's moving so fast, even with the warning, you may not get out. I'm being real. I have seen it. Water can rise and move so fast, you can't outrun it. You can't. So you can't sit there and say that, guarantee that all of you would have lived and nobody would have died and nothing would have gone wrong and everybody would be fine and we would have saved our stuff only if we had a siren. Doesn't mean you're going to survive it because it moves too fast.
Yes.
No, they didn't. And I'm going to say this with all the love in my heart. I don't want anybody complaining about the sheriff, the judge, the police, any of the city officials, the county officials. Ultimately, the camps, all camps, are responsible. They are notified. They are told days in advance. They follow the weather. They get the alerts from the city. They actually get a heads up sometimes before other people do. And it's their responsibility to evacuate and get everybody out in a timely manner. It's their responsibility to protect those children. It's their responsibility to act with responsibility on the side of caution. If they heard that there was a chance of flooding, then they needed to ensure those girls are out of there and they had an escape route. And, well, they didn't.
They would have been, everybody would have been worried, what's that noise? What's that noise?
We would have left. We would have went anywhere else. We have so many places we could have gone that were safe.
In Kerrville, I'm Amanda Henderson, KHOU 11 News.
Oh, how much you want to bet Kreider's? Oh, Owen, how much you want to bet? I was at Kreider's last night. I drove all the way past Kreider's. How much you want to bet Kreider's? Does anybody know if Kreider's is still standing? We lost Lake House Restaurant. Wahoo's was just about ready to do their grand opening and their restaurant was underwater.
A man simply doing his best, fighting to save his
I am
loved
too.
ones, not making it.
I am too.
One of the many tragic stories tonight.
A final act of love.
Okay, here's a look.
I know 750 girls are hard to evacuate, Mars. But if you're going to take the responsibility of that kind of all those girls, and you have to be able to evacuate because of fire, flood, I mean, just saying, that's a part of being an owner of such a camp, is that you've got to have evacuation plans.
Look at some of the people still unaccounted for tonight. Many of them are from the Houston area. And tonight, loved ones sharing photos on social media, desperately hoping for some good news. More than 20 girls are missing from Camp Mystic, along with families who were on vacation. Matt Doherty talking to one of those families in Mont Bellevue who are missing 5 loved ones. He joins us live. Matt?
Lynn, the woman we met with tonight is desperate to find her sister and her family. The youngest among their group is only 5 years old.
It's hard for me to believe this is actually happening to my family.
To say Joy Myers is worried would be an understatement.
And immediately tried to call her.
I don't know. I was tomorrow. I'm going to go out tomorrow, guys. I'm going to drive the routes as far as I can. I'm going to get information, and I've availed myself as an emergency services volunteer chaplain, firefighter. I've availed myself to help with the families as they learn about the situation or conditions of their children. So I will be driving past that area. I will take notes and I will let y'all know tomorrow the situation.
My brother-in-law called my niece and no answer.
Since early this morning, she's been trying to get in touch with her sister, Deanne Knesh, and her husband, Gary.
They were camping. He posted a picture yesterday on Facebook that they were there.
We do no politics. We do pineapples, no politics, but you're right.
And it was nice and peaceful and quiet.
Good night,
And I was
love.
gonna give
Love
her a call
you.
this
Thanks for
morning.
joining.
Also camping with her sister and brother-in-law was their son, Jake Moeller, his wife, Megan, and the couple's 5-year-old daughter, Harley.
I mean, what's this been like for you today?
It's been horrible.
Duh. What has this been like for you today? Oh, it's been a picnic. And guess what? I baked a cake and we're celebrating. Oh, I hate reporters.
You know, try to remain very hopeful. But as the hours pass, the first couple hours, you're like, okay, she'll call, because she knows we're looking for her and her daughter's looking for her.
Joy's niece is there tonight in Kerrville looking for her mom and has been at the campsite right next to the river where the group spent the night.
There was a 20 or 30-foot wall of water that just came through there.
So
Hey, did you hear that? 20 to 30 foot wall of water, not a slow rise. We're talking wall of water. John, I have said that several times. They're thinking they're going to find them. Guys, there's many times that people get swept away and they're never found again.
without any news of her family, tonight all Joy says she can do right now is hope and pray.
Hoping they're hanging out in a tree. I hope they're all together.
Now, Joy is asking if anyone does see her family to please contact authorities or even call the police stations. Tomorrow, Lynn, I'll be heading out to Kerrville in the morning as the search for all of these people continues.
It is going to be an agonizing night ahead for so many people. Matt, thank you. A group of friends from Houston are safe tonight after waking up to this water surrounding their Airbnb in Kerrville while celebrating a birthday. Eric Castro tells us he called 911, but they didn't have anybody to send right away. So neighbors across the street rescued them.
They were across the street, saw us, and were kind of helping.
Okay, first of all, I'm not going to sit here and ignore the fact that they said they had no one to send them. There were parts of the highway and parts of the town that you could not pass. The road, Highway 27, runs parallel and sometimes with only 2 to 3 feet of the water's edge of the Guadalupe River. Some of that area was not reachable at the time of the call. Not that they didn't have anybody, because we had people already here in preparations for flood. Remember, we heard that in the interview earlier. So I'm not going to blame the emergency services or the first responders. If there's no way to get to you, there's no way to get to you. I'm just saying, it's horrible. I've been there as a first responder and a firefighter. I've been there, and it's hard. But we cannot put lives of other people and have them die of time to save somebody. It's horrible. My heart goes out to everybody. But you're alive. You're alive, so you better not be bitching.
Through what they could do. They had ropes. They had a human chain ready to help us. And so all
Yes, they do. And the thing is if you come down here and you hear there's flood warning and you're camping within 10 feet of the freaking river, don't you think that it would be smart for you to do your due diligence and to get your ass up off that damn chair, pack up your shite, get in your camper, and put your family in a safe position? At what point do we own our own lack of responsibility? And people may get mad at me, but I just sometimes get frustrated that people don't own the responsibility that they did not make the right decision, and then they blame everybody else for it. And that's been going around.
13 of us and our 5 dogs were able to get evacuated with their help.
That's amazing. Castro says all of their cars were washed away. Now they're working on getting rentals so they can get back home to Houston.
Yeah.
Oh my God. There's people screaming in the river. We're back there, everybody. Oh my God. Can you knock on your neighbor's door?
That is a look at the frantic door-to-door evacuations that happened before the sun came up in Kerrville this morning, as officers desperately
See, officers going door to door to tell people, get the hell out.
Tried to warn people about the fast-rising river. That is just one of many dramatic videos we are seeing tonight.
Thank you,
Here are
Texas
some
Liz,
more.
852.
Tonight, new video out of Kerr County.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You can see the intense flooding and damage left behind in communities along the Guadalupe River. At this home in Hunt, raging floodwaters pushed heavy debris onto the porch and left boats and jet skis tangled in trees. In this nearby RV park, even more damage, with boats and trailers flipped completely upside down. Governor Greg Abbott sharing a video which shows crews lowered from helicopters to rescue people clinging to trees. We're told one victim had broken ribs and a punctured lung. In Kerrville, you can see homes and cars submerged. And here, water swallows all signs of Louise Hayes Park, turning it into a raging river. While in Comfort, this video shows floodwaters carrying a massive surge of debris downstream. All of it evidence of the devastation upending lives across the hill country in just one day.
Your continuing coverage of this absolute.
Okay, I had a deaf person hop on. Okay, I'm asking the deaf person to hold 1 second. I'm going to try and get more information. My family, you're absolutely right. Such a devastating situation, Ronnie. Only 11 died in 1987 flood. It wasn't this sudden. Yeah. One of the officials during the afternoon press conference tried to blame NWS for not forecasting rain amounts right. There's no way to know that 12 inches plus of rain was going to fall in Hunt and 15 inches north of that. And then while that's falling in Hunt, Hunt is literally 17 minutes from my house, we got 9 inches. So you got 15 and 9 all combined into one, all of these little fingers of the river combined into one big section of the river. It's insane. Yeah, thank you so much for your help. Oh no, there shouldn't be any blame. Tragic event, but everybody wants to blame. The storm stalled like Harvey. It did, Houston. I told people this morning, it's looking like a hurricane on land. It just sat there and spun and build and build and build. You know, if you're going to take that risk, then you take responsibility for yourself. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I was definitely out in all that. And so, but we have a lot of historical area that is, damaged, destroyed, no longer there. I want to see this.
Governor Greg Abbott just issued a disaster declaration.
Yep.
We know at least 24 people have died in what's being called a once-in-a-lifetime flood. Here is Governor Abbott's late-night update within the last hour.
I gotta comment that South Texas, you are so right. People who don't live here, and that was part of this problem. Not only do we have campers and camps all summer long, Camp Mystic is one of those that some campers can stay a few weeks. Some of them will stay actually the entire summer. What? In a minute, I'll wrap it up soon. Go lay down. And we had a lot of visitors. 4th of July seems to be outside of the Thanksgiving, Christmas. 4th of July, I think, is the biggest park event of the year. And we really, really, really have a lot of people coming in, and they camp out on the edge of the rivers, and they do that, and they get warnings that we were going to have 2 to 5 inches or 3 to 5 inches, and then it moved up to 3 to 6 inches or whatever, and rain, and they don't realize, oh, that's only a few inches. They don't understand how that adds up and how it can create cause a flash flood in no time. 12 to 14 inches of rain is not survivable if you're not aware it's coming. Thank you so much, South Texas. You are amazing. One missing teen remained in 1987 bus. Yep. Studied weather for 40 years. That storm created a meso low for the low level jet stream. Thank you so much for that example. I'm not a meteorologist. I am a storm chaser, but I'm not a meteorologist. Praying for all affected by the flood. Sick over those poor precious children. Yes. I did not hear about the man in the last video complaining about people not coming to get him. I heard him being grateful for those. No, that triggered a thought. He himself may not have been complaining, but there were people complaining that there was nobody to come pick them up. And it just triggered a thought. I apologize. Important for him to pitch in and rebuild the community. We can't count on the government to do this for us. Yep. Plus, the ground is hard due to drought and can't absorb the rain. Exactly. People didn't get flash part of the flood. Ain't that the truth? They did not. My wife used to go to Camp Mystic in the 80s. Flood happened then. Now there's way more people. Yeah. And that's the other thing. Kerrville is growing by leaps and bounds, and there's a lot more people. We also have to look at our communities. People don't understand what a flash flood is. And we had probably, I would say 5,000 to 6,000 possible visitors in the central Kerr County Hill Country area. The rainwater from Divide area, North Fork headwaters were just coming in 41 on dry Cedar Park Green at 6 Spring. Yep. We make the choices. That's a part of the beauty of the risk. We do. I'm going to play this, and then I'm probably going to have to wrap it up because it's almost 1:00 in the morning my time. Yeah, they are scary. And then people don't understand. You're standing on the edge of the river, right? And you got your kids on your hip, you got a kid in the hand, and you're saying, look at the flood. All that area that you're standing on, I'm talking right up on the river. I was getting so mad at them because that ground can crumble underneath you. Now your child and you and or your child or children are now victims and floating down the river and going to die. Why would you do that crap? Why would you lose the safety of your home, pile your kids up in the car, and go down and sit on the edge of the river and risk your family for free entertainment? Oh, Joel, thank you, Ada K, for your professionalism. Wondering if there's any Airbnb or Guadalupe River tree house rentals were affected downstream in San Antonio North. I don't know. But there are a lot of Airbnb, a lot of rentals that were right on the river. And the problem is we had a lot of RVs right on the river. We have a lot of RV parks on the river. There's one called Yogi Bear Park, and there were people who were in cabins that were destroyed and disappearing. New subscriber, thank you so much. Thank you. In Japan, in rural areas of tsunami protection. Yep, they build these 5-story platforms, basically 5 stories stuff. Well, the problem is we can't build those here. The way the topography of the land and everything, I don't see it, but it's an idea. It's true. I've never seen a flash flood in the levels more than, it would look like a small tsunami. You got that right. And basically, it's a small tsunami in the hill country. It is. Welcome. Thank you so much. Exactly. Please stay safe. Tremendous thanks for what you're doing. We do know about Kreider. Do we know about Kreider? No, but I'm going to go out there tomorrow if I can get there. I was there last night. I drove past Kreider's last night. I was in the Hunt store last night. I had a friend from out of town. I drove them. We took a leisurely stroll, what we call a Sunday drive. Showed them the area. We went past Kreider's. Kreider's is a historical, it's 100 years old now. It's a barbecue, bar, country dance place with a rodeo. What makes me mad is the lifting blame. I'm not going to go into politics. Pineapples, no politics. The children are that's why I'm trying to not cry. Yeah. Yeah. And people don't understand. You sitting here putting all that weight on something that's wet and that's exposed to a flooding situation, you're going to be in it. It's heavy raining there right now. Let me pull up the weather. Let me show you what we have right now. I'm going to pop me off. You'll hear me, but you won't see me. Hopefully you can hear me. This is what it looks like now. All of the rain has moved past us. The blue arrow is my exact location. It is now going up New Colleen and Temple, and it's kind of expanding up into Gatesville, Waco. But we are in the clear now. But this, just so you know, here is where the Camp Mystic is, down here on the bottom green. Highway 39 hugs the river. We drove literally, I think we turned around here over the South Fork of the Guadalupe. I wish I had a pin, but where that little blue dot is where we drove to yesterday and turned around. I took them for the drive of the hill country just for a beautiful day. So the girls were here, where that blue line is. Let me pop this down so y'all can see. Where that blue circle is where the girls disappeared. Unfortunately, we have a lot of twists and turns. I'm following the river, as you can see. Camp La Junta, they were flooded. The Hunt store, this is the historical store that I showed y'all pictures of earlier. And then as we come in, now we're starting to come into Ingram. And then now we're into Ingram Dam. No, Ingram Dam, I'm sorry, Kerrville. That harsh line here is the dam, and then the Guadalupe River continues. The thing is I got to zoom it out so I can see. That's in Ingram. And then we continue, and now we're into Kerrville, okay? This is the lake house in LaForce. LaForce, nobody there. That's now Wahoo's. This was totally. Let me show you exactly how bad this flooded. Do you guys see where it says the Guadalupe River and that Thompson Drive, and it has that little hook? Then you see Arcadia Loop, and you see all those homes there, and then you see the Yellow Junction Highway. The water literally was all the way up to Junction Highway. Right there. That is huge. That's like 3 or 4 football fields wide. Here is the Guadalupe bridge, the Guadalupe River. So yeah, let me get me back on. I just wanted you guys to have an understanding. Yes, they did. They did find a woman alive all the way there. Ada will be out tomorrow. One camp director has died. Where was that? Mars, can you let me know where that was reported? Give me a link. I had not heard that. I was talking about the Hunt store. Let me get this on stage. This is the Hunt store that's damaged. I hope and pray that this store is actually still there. I do know it was damaged. I'm going to play this a little bit while we look for that video. If someone can please give me that video, that would be great.
Taking place.
I'm sorry, I had to back it up, so it's going to be a little glitchy.
As the Texas Hill Country braces for another wave of storms, Governor Greg Abbott just issued a disaster declaration. We know at least 24 people have died in what's being called a once-in-a-lifetime flood. Here is Governor Abbott's late-night update within the last hour.
We remain in a search and rescue posture right now. They will continue in the darkness of night. They will be taking place when the sun rises in the morning. They will be nonstop, seeking to find everybody who is unaccounted for. The Texas National Guard has been a part of that process.
As the Guadalupe River rose overnight, it sent floodwaters rushing throughout Kerr County, overwhelming.
It was hitting the bottom of that glid. The bridge. It was hitting the bottom of the bridge. It was horrible.
Several communities. New pictures from the Texas game warden show rescuers were finally able to enter a summer camp that was inundated.
Far as I know, the dam is still there, but the problem is the damage to the dam. Personally, I hate that dam. Too many people, they slide down it. They literally surf down it barefoot. Too many people get hurt on that dam. I think the city should stop that behavior. But I have no idea. I'm going to try and take a drive. I've got a GoPro mount that I could put on my car, and it's a 360. So if I can get that working, I will go and do a drive.
Dated by the flooding. An urgent search for at least 23 missing girls is happening at this hour. We know several of the missing children are from North.
What? Elaine, are you saying Judge Ragsdale died? What? I know this dude. What do you mean, Judge Ragsdale? Yes, it was 40. Wait, Elaine. I need to know. You need to tell me. Talk to me. What do you mean he died? How did he die? I just saw him 2 nights ago. Please don't tell me Judge died. Please don't tell me Judge died. I need you to tell me. Oh, Jane Ragsdale. Was Jane Ragsdale Judge Ragsdale wife or daughter? What? Am I thinking of the same? Is this his wife or daughter? Oh God, please don't tell me that family. Oh my God, is that his family member? Because I know his wife. I mean, I just call her Miss Ragsdale. Oh my God, don't scare me like that. Yes, you're right. It would have spilled into the small HEB. Okay, we're not going to go into politics here, guys. The dam can fail. But Ragsdale is an unusual name. Was she related to Judge Ragsdale?
North Texas. And just minutes ago, we received this picture of Handley Hannah from her mother. She tells us the family is from Dallas. NBC5's Allie Spilliards is in Ingram tonight with the latest on the search for those missing campers.
More than 700 girls came by air and bus, evacuated after Camp Mystic was nearly washed away in an overnight flood. Families from all over the state waited hours to be reunited after waking up to the terrifying news that the Guadalupe River rose more than 26 feet in 45 minutes. At one point, as many as 23 people were missing, many of them children.
It was just roaring. The river was, just sounded like a locomotive or a tornado.
Clint Orm says he lost a car to chest-deep water, evacuating his home before coming to one of several reunification centers simply to help.
Sad. I have some customer that called me early this morning, a grandmother, and her granddaughter was missing, and so I came down to do research to see if I could help them.
People were frightened and nervous and scared, and they had small children with them, and they had their dogs.
Kira Bowman says she was evacuated herself while trying to feed evacuees in nearby Hunt. Among 24 confirmed fatalities was a friend, Jane Ragsdale, the director of Camp Life.
She drowned looking for her counselors, and that just breaks my heart.
Her town now reduced to crumbled roads and debris. Bowman describes the aftermath like a war zone.
What I imagine that it looks like in the Ukraine right now, just destruction. Buildings, houses. Our post office is gone.
As the search for...
Okay, Texas Liz 852. Any news on the fork at Hunt? It was underwater. Haven't heard anything near Waldemar, but heard everything. Yes, there's a lot of damage and flood damage, but everything is accountable. I did see pictures at the fork. The water was over the bridge. So there is damage. I wish it would have destroyed that ugly building they built. Looks like it came out of the frickin' 70s California backlash. Anyway, No, I don't want anything destroyed, but I'm just saying they're building some weird crap out there. But anyway, here we go.
Survivors continues.
Go to sleep. How are you going home? I can't hear you. I need you over here. I can't see it. It's dark. Turn the light on or something.
Carrie
Sorry,
Christy
guys.
Nome says rescue teams in helicopters will fly as long as possible tonight. The Texas National Guard also says it has rescued 167 people by helicopter.
Okay, guys. My sympathies to them. We're going to have to wrap this up. What are you looking for? I'll be there in a minute. We're going to have to wrap this up. We've been here all day and we've got to open tomorrow, but let me take a few more comments and then we'll wrap it up. Currently, we have 377 people. We had almost 500 from YouTube and 550 from X watching. Thank you so very much. I may see him out in water trying to help. My sister was always asking if Jane. Oh my gosh. People are saying no politics. Do you remember the president reaction? Okay, I'm not going into politics tonight. No, I understand. They are not going to give out. I won't give out names. That is not my place to do so. But thank you immensely for. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I stayed at Mark. It's beautiful out there. Definitely can be understood what the flash flood. Yeah. Yeah, it was horrible. Okay, guys. I went live at 9:00 this morning. I've been out all day. What's going to happen is I'm going to look at the weather real quick. We are forecasted to have more rain, but I don't have rain on radar yet. Looks like the rain will be between 5 and 6 p.m. tomorrow, possibly 11 p.m. tomorrow night. That's today, Saturday, Sunday, we have 70% chance more of rain. I have seen a lot of new people here.
Thank you, Ada.
Thank you so much, Washington. I've seen a lot of new people here, and I appreciate all of you for coming on. Please hit the like and subscribe button on the way out. We just had our 1-year anniversary this week, and thank you so much for everybody for what you do. Mods, I told you didn't have to be here, but I appreciate and I love each one of you, and thank you for joining. Guys, thank you guys for keeping your comments as much as possible polite and respectful. This is a very horrible time for our families. I got to go home and see what I got to do with my house. Ada, Oklahoma. I'm Ada. I've heard of Ada, Oklahoma. Prayers for the 40 plus RVs that were at HR campground. There was at least, 2 hours before flood. Yep. I was there last 2 nights before the flood. Oh my gosh, Troy, thank you. But everyone, please come back tomorrow evening. I'll probably do it in the evening, maybe not this late, but I'll do it tomorrow night or during the day. I'm going to go and get video if I can. I am not going to promise. I may not be able to get that far. They may have the roads cut off. They were complaining that people were blocking the roads trying to get pictures and emergency vehicles couldn't get through. Now, the other thing is I may be called to work with some of the victims' families as a chaplain. And so some of the roads maybe even be wiped out. You're right. And so if that's the case, that's priority. But I will come on and share with you what I saw, tell you what I saw. But in the meantime, please, guys, keep everybody in prayers. Those poor babies, how scared they must have been. And how scared their families are right now. Please pray for a miracle. Please pray for miracles. You know, I've heard of people being found 48 hours later holding to trees, and there's a group of 5 of them. I mean, it's happened. So that's what we're praying for. The only thing I need right now is support of the channel. And understanding the next couple of days are going to be fluid. I will try and get us back to court tomorrow. Until I get called out, I will get us back into court. We will start tomorrow morning when I come in. It may be about 10 o'clock. I don't know. We got to be a little fluid with this. Mods, I'm so sorry. I know we're going off of the docket, but I'll try to get back into court and get the Cooper trial back on, get us caught up as much as I can tomorrow until I'm called out. But understand tomorrow, if this radio goes off, guys, I'm out. And it will be a quick see you later. They're my priority. Okay. Everybody, thank you so much. Remember, hug your loved ones. You never know what tonight or tomorrow may hold. We are not promised tomorrow. So, love you guys. Remember to tell your loved ones you love them. We never know what tomorrow holds. Yep, you just said what I was going to say. Yana, the docket doesn't matter. You're fine. Well, but we do need to get back on that. In the mighty name of Jesus, we will see miracles and children saved. Amen. Amen and amen. And Lord, bless all the first responders. Bless all those in offices who are dealing with this, Father. We ask that you bless this community. We thank you for the support and love that we have gotten. We thank you for all the volunteers who are coming from far and wide to help. But the biggest concern right now are those lost children. And Lord, we ask for a miracle. We ask for a miracle. Okay? In Jesus' mighty name. Amen. All right, guys, be blessed. Miigwech, I'm going to try and get sleep. I only had 2 hours last night. Bye. Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. I hope you have an awesome day. Till next time, take care.